The Orangetown Planning Board, September 25th, now in session. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First item is the Temple Israel Memorial Park Amendment Filed Site Plan PB 23-35. Please step up, sign in, please, and state your name and address for the record.
Dennis Letson, 160 West Central Ave, engineer for the applicant.
Spell your last name for me, please.
Letson.
Lawrence Kintish, Kintisch. I was chairman of the Cemetery Committee for Congregation Sons of Israel. 208 Hilltop Drive, Nyack, New York is my home address.
Yes, sir. What could I do you for?
Well, last time we were here, we had the discussion regarding the drainage calcs. Mr. Peters hadn't had a chance to look at them. He also wanted a new infiltration test, which we did, and he has now seen all of the results of that and approved the calculations, has no further comments. Excuse me. We revised the drawings in accordance with his previous comment, what he asked us to add to the things. And at this point, I just note that we have the zoning planning administration has no objections. Mr. Peters has indicated all of his previous comments and recommendations are addressed or satisfied.
I'll go through the comments. We
great.
just want to know what
At this
your
point,
open statement.
at this point, we believe we satisfied all of the comments and concerns, and we would respectfully request a neg deck and preliminary and final approval on the site plan amendment.
Okay, let me go through the consultant's reports. Project review has no additional comments. Office of Building, Zoning, and Planning, Jane Slavin, September 20th. She has 3 comments. The Department of Environmental Management and Engineering, Town of Orangetown, September 24th. They have 2 comments. The Bureau of Fire Prevention, September 9th. They have 1 comment. Booker Engineering, September 24th. Based on the information provided, there are no potential significant adverse impact with respect to stormwater runoff that require mitigation. Therefore, we recommend that the Temple Israel Memorial Park site plan be approved for drainage subject to the above comments, of which there are 1. Rockland County Planning, September 20th. They remand to for local decision. Okay, I have a letter from Rockland County Planning Department, July 11th, comments attached. I have a letter from Matt Shook, dated August 19th. He's from the Palisades Parkway Commission.
Yes, sir.
I have a letter from D. Letzlin, September 11th. This is also referred to the PIP's comments. I have pictures from the PIP plans. I have a letter from Rockland County Planning, July 11th, stating comments attached. That's the second time. And that's all I have.
All right,
Okay. I have a letter from Rockland County Health Department, June 25th.
that's the mosquito
Okay.
prevention approval.
Okay, Gerard, anything else?
If I may, sir.
Okay, let me just finish with him. Oh, okay, thank you. Yes.
There's one additional item from Mr. Shook that I don't think made it into the package, but that's the email that he sent to all of the parties.
Okay, well, if he didn't come to the board, I can't accept it. It's got to come to the board through the board.
Did you get that, Jane? The follow-up email from Matt Shook? that he said everything was addressed by the information we sent to him?
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't mentioned, the chairman didn't have it.
Okay, no, I did mention a letter from him.
Yeah, that was the first letter.
Okay.
And then I sent the information to him, and he responded to that additional information, that they were satisfied.
Okay. All right. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, this has been going on since 2012. And one thing that you didn't address is the trees that the planning board back in 2012 wanted you to put up. And on your blueprints, I don't see anything about trees that are gonna be put up.
The request in the site plan amendment is the modification to the drainage and the substitution of the fence for the trees.
Andy, I think before you bring do the trees, and this is involved into this. They don't want to plant the trees.
So they're not required to plant the trees?
They're here for the,
We're here to ask for a waiver of the trees and a substitution of the fence. Because in the time since, the cemetery used to be able to have water service turned on and off and be able to irrigate the various areas of the site. With the changes in some of the health department regulations, the water company will not permit that anymore.
Microphone over towards you, please.
Water company now requires a hot box and a shut-off backflow prevention and a lot of other elements that generally run about $10,000 to install. And the cemetery is not in a position to be able to guarantee that the trees would be viable, that they can water them. So they're requesting that the trees be their fence be substituted for the trees to provide the screening for the neighborly property.
Who's gonna maintain the fence?
The cemetery will.
What about the spigot that's on the road there, just above the turnaround that you put in?
Again, it's not active.
It's not active?
No, they will not, they won't return water service without the cemetery installing the hot box and all of the additional improvements for water service, for seasonal water service.
I have no further questions.
Thank you. Denise?
I know this one.
Okay. Mike?
No, just I'm going back to the August 1st, 2012. Number 3, the applicant shall revise the tree line along the northwest property line as follows. A minimum of 10 trees shall be planted, extending to the northwesterly direction. Each tree shall be a minimum of 8 to 9 feet in height. There's no reason that they can't be planted. You don't have, if they're put in the fall, they can be watered one way or the other. You don't, if you're turning off that spigot for the winter, there's no reason that you need to put in all that other stuff. You're not going to water the trees over the winter. You water them in the spring, but the spring usually you have rain. So there's no reason. I have 9 trees I put in along the back of my property line. It doesn't get watered. If we had a drought, it would be, they're growing fine after 2
Right.
years.
Mr. Mandel, the water company will not turn on the water service without the hot box, the backflow preventer, and all of the other elements.
We have a letter from
That
them
they
stating
request.
such.
I don't think we have a letter. What do you have from them?
We were told we would need electricity for the hot box. We do not have electricity. We have no office on the property.
I'd like to see a letter from them stating such.
There's one other issue, and that has to do with an item on the approval letter that said we must maintain those trees for as long as we occupy the property. On the cemetery, that is rather a long period of time, I would imagine centuries, and we cannot guarantee that they will be maintained. So we are asking that we not have trees and that we eliminate that requirement that landscaping as specified be maintained for as long as we occupy the property.
Well, those trees live quite a long time. Quite a long time. So my opinion, I want to see the trees. That's my opinion. I don't know how. That's my opinion, that we should have the trees, It was, as of August 1st, 2012, it was one of the conditions that were approved. And I still think they should be planted, and that's, I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but that's how I believe. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, may I
Thank
make
you.
one other comment about the 2012 hearing? There were a number of neighbors who wanted the trees because they felt that the cemetery's water flow was going to damage their property. The property on Glenwood Road and later on in Swanican Road are downhill. And whenever you have property downhill, there will be water from uphill. And in fact, we put in a swale. One of the reasons for the deferral for a year, we put in a swale to make sure water would go away from the properties. And I think you said something about how much water a mature tree will hold for every rainfall.
Generally, a
It's
mature tree will
It's
take up
insignificant.
about 100 gallons a day, which in the average rainfall is a very minimal amount of rainfall. It's not going to soak up any kind of major storm.
But it'll soak up more than a fence.
Yeah.
It does soak up more than the fence, but at this point, everything there is vegetated. So that the area that the trees were supposed to be installed in for the purposes of absorbing water, the runoff and the total water in that area is not being modified by this request for the driveway. And all of the additional
you're taking
runoff
up
from the
impervious
driveway is
surface.
being, no, but yes, and we're mitigating that with the trench, the expanded trench, the infiltration trench. All of that runoff from the new impervious surface in the driveway extension is all being mitigated by the infiltration trench that's being supplied
So where does the infiltration trench take the water
into the ground.
into the ground?
So that roadway all slopes downhill. The infiltration trench is running around about
around,
60% of the cul-de-sac, and then that will percolate into the ground from that trench in
So-
about 8 hours.
So it's absorbed in this, I guess this is the trench, it looks like a rock wall to me, but it's absorbed all around that
Yes,
area.
yes.
And how many gallons of water does that absorb? Oh, sure. No.
It's just not picking up.
Sorry, I'm not real organized in my. Okay, here we go. Increase 766, 248, so, okay. 766 cubic feet. And in gallons, that's 7.48 gallons to the foot. 1 second.
Say that again, how many gallons?
7.48 gallons to the cubic foot, and the volume is 766 cubic feet. 5,729 gallons.
So the water goes into the ground. How does the water go into the ground? Where does it come out? Water has to come out somewhere.
It soaks into the ground and will return to the groundwater table. The stabilized infiltration rate below that trench area is 3.3 1/8 inches per hour. So that will soak into the ground.
Right. So the trees, in my understanding, were not to be put in for water mitigation, although it would mitigate 10 trees, 100 gallons, whatever you said, 1,000 gallons of water per day.
No, a mature tree, like a 40-foot oak tree or something similar, is gonna carry 100 gallons a day. Some of the evergreen trees in the smaller sizes would
Well, the
absorb less
Norway spruce gets to 60 feet.
over a long period of time.
Well, it grows 2 to 3 feet a year. So if you planted them in 2012, they would have been full grown, pretty close to full grown right now.
Possibly. They were initially set to be 6 to 8 footers, I believe.
But the point that I'm making here,
They're in a completely different area than the impervious surface that's
Right.
being added.
and that area was to screen the neighbors.
Yes, it would
Okay.
screen the northerly neighbor if they were to be
So let me
installed on the
see,
north
so you
lot
want to
line.
put in a fence
Yes.
instead of a 60-foot Norway spruce?
No,
How
we'll
much?
install the fence versus whatever the height requirement was for the trees
8 to
that
9
were.
foot.
Well, yeah, but that's 8 to 9 foot when you put them in.
Right.
Okay, so you add 3 feet a year. All right? 12 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
the tree would have been 30 feet tall.
It would, but how much of that tree is then going to be solid at the, ground level and provide the actual screening?
Well, we could change the tree to a green giant arborvitae.
Which generally will grow high, but the diameter of those trees will stay in or around 5 feet, give or take?
No,
6
I'm
feet,
talking
give or
about
take?
green giant
Yes.
arborvitae.
Yes,
Did you ever take a ride up on Sickletown Road and see the house on the corner by, what is it, Town Line Road? Did you ever see that white
not that I
house?
recall.
Take a look. Those trees are pretty big and pretty wide. They grow, their width at the bottom is 25 feet at maturity. You put 10 of them in, you got to spread them apart because that's how big they're going to get.
Mr. Chairman, I have just two other things to add to this. There is existing a stockade fence of the same type that we are proposing. In fact, it was just rebuilt by Dr. Zebrak on his property, which is part of the 160 feet of this project. There was a request from him and from the deceased woman, Mrs. Delisser, Delisser, now the Nunez family, that a fence be put in instead of trees. And there was another letter, I don't remember the lady's name, from Glenwood, who said she agreed that we should not have trees there. So the point is, it was originally proposed because of a water-saving thing for people downhill, which I have said to you, we have remediated by putting a swale in and moving the water through the forest. We have 4 acres of forest that we're not planning to take any trees down. My guess is for 30 years, and we'd come back to this board in 30 years and ask for more space for the cemetery. Right now, we have enough space. It just doesn't make sense to me with neighbors who said they did not want the trees against the new fence, and they wanted a fence instead of trees. And I sent those letters to Director Slevin, and I'm hoping that the board will approve our site plan change and replace the trees with a fence.
Let me go see what the rest of the board has to say. Mike?
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, I see the concerns of the other members, and looking back in 2012, it looks like the neighbors did have concerns about drainage. And this road's already built, right? This road's been there
Yes, it
for,
is.
yeah, this road's been there for years, the drainage. I wonder if the drainage is working, if the concerns have been met, that after all these years, that road is there, has the properties been affected? I'd like to listen to the neighbors and see, 'cause how long's the road been built? How many years?
It was built in 2013.
Right, so we've had all these years to see if there's been a drainage problem, if you actually do need the trees. 'Cause it looks like their concern was drainage, so I'd like to see if that's actually is working. And if, 'cause And if it's a matter of a natural vegetation buffer versus a stockade fence, I don't know if that makes the neighbors happy as well. Or do we just leave it as is and say drainage is working, there's no building, there's no site impact? So I'd like to hear from neighbors, because if it's working, do we actually want this fence versus natural vegetation? And if the trees aren't gonna work, I'd like to see if there's some kind of agreement we can come up with that works for everybody. That's my only concern right now.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Bruce, question or comment?
Okay, I'm okay with the fence.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, Mike?
Okay. When was the turnaround built?
In 2013, as part of
That's
this
circular?
construction. Yes, sir.
Was totally paved the way it is now?
It was paved, and it had a failure according to an inspection that was done, and it was repaved. And in the repaving, I asked that it be made 1 foot wider on the side to be more of an oval shape than a pure circle. And because of that, we had an inspection of the depth of the infiltration trench, which showed it was not done correctly. And I've had Mr. Letson recalculate what we would need to match the water flowing off of this slightly larger turnaround circle, and also to get back to the same cubic feet that it should have had before. So that's the story of the infiltration trench around 2/3 of the turnaround circle.
Just to add to what Mr. Andrews said, Leland cypress is another tree that grows quite large and broad. I believe that in using vegetation, trees and that to screen properties, I think it makes the best use of it, and it replants trees that have been taken down in the past, but that's my opinion. Thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna open it up to the public now.
Motion to open public
Do I have a
portion.
second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Anybody from the public who wish to speak on this? Yes, step forward, please. State your name and address for the record.
May I speak from here?
Can we get a microphone to her? Okay. Thank you very much.
What's your name and your address?
Nancy Antonucci, 102 Swanigan Road, Blovelt, New York. Antonucci. Excuse me? Yeah. All right, I live on Swanigan Road, and I am a bit confused right now because the fence and the trees that are being discussed interchangeably, if I'm correct, are on the north side of the property. The blacktop turnaround and that extension, the trench, is on the east side of the property. Swanigan Road, am I correct?
It's on the west side.
I mean west side, yeah, the west side. Am I correct with that? Okay. As far as the water situation, I don't see, I mean, we're talking about two different things, the neighbors and what's being discussed here. If there's blacktop added, which was, and then the trench has to be extended, how are we going to know if it's going to affect us? Because if I remember correctly, the elevation of the land, if you're on Van Wyck Road, which is east, and you're going toward the west Swanigan Road, that's a hill, that pitches down. And if I remember correctly, the land itself goes from northeast to, it slopes down to southwest. So I want to be assured, and I have no thoughts one way or another about a fence or a tree. Okay, it really does not affect the people on Swanigan. And John, could you address this? We have enough water in our backyards right now. And as far as what's going on with the climate, the rain, the absurd amount of rain that we're getting, we have additional water not only in the backyards, but in our homes. And that presents another problem. I want assurances tonight that either a vote's going to be postponed or that the engineer is definitely sure that whatever construction they're going to make, the retention pond or whatever you want to call it, is not going to bring any more water that direction because the water is flowing from the east to the west. And our backyards and our homes can't accept any more water at this time. And that's all I have to say. So I needed to say that right now. We're talking about, in my mind, certain issues.
Thank you very
May
much.
I make a comment?
Comment to the board, your comment.
I have,
To us, the board.
I have been one of the few people here who has walked the entire property all the way back,
Thank you very much.
all the way back to the railroad embankment. And I found that that embankment is now owned by either the county or the state. It was the state property, it's probably county, it could even be town. And there is a drain on the west side of the embankment. Now, any water that flows down should be drained on the east side of the embankment, wherever that drain goes to. There may be another drain closer to Convent Road, but it can't be blamed on the property that used to be a farm that we purchased in 1936 and now has hundreds of trees growing on it that we are causing a problem. There's a small amount of new pavement. It will be going into an infiltration trench, which will go back into groundwater. Groundwater goes down the hill, but it has to be caught down at the railroad embankment by whoever owns that property, and there should have been a drain going under the embankment to connect with the drain on the west side of the embankment to get that water out of there. I understand the problem that they have on Swanican Road. Yes, sir.
And if I can, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
We have a lot of people here and a lot of help.
Yes.
Yes,
If we can just mention the 3-minute rule.
yeah,
Typically,
yeah, I was hoping to get the clock going.
we have all the
Okay.
comments and then
Then we
the
can answer.
applicant address them.
Okay, thank you. Real quick.
All right, Larry, we're not saying anything against the cemetery. You've been a really good neighbor.
Okay,
When John Giardella brought a problem to your attention, you know, you took care of it. We're not saying anything about that at all. We just have to take care of our properties and our homes.
we understand it. Thank you very much. Okay. Anybody else wish to speak on this project? We can I have a motion to close the public session?
Motion to close.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, okay. We're talking, I think, two different things. The trees, fence idea is on one side of the property. This drainage culvert is basically on the other side. They don't, one does not feed the other one way or the other. When I looked at this, the way it was laid out, it looked like the water was gonna actually just continue going straight back into that flooded area that's directly, I guess, due west towards the old railroad tracks. The trees fence concept that we're looking at is on the north side of the property, but not near this, well, in respect it is. So, like I said, we're talking two different things. We're concerned with the trees, fence, not the drainage. We're looking at the drainage over the whole entire property, which I think Bruce Peters was satisfied with. Our concern now is, what do we want to do? Do we want to have trees, or do we want to have a fence? I think this is our concern right now.
Mr. Chairman, if you could also add that Brooker also reviewed it and
Approved drainage.
So both town engineers have
Right, yeah,
looked at the drainage for that area.
right. So, like I said, our engineer approved the drainage. So now, our decision is, do we modify the site plan to go with a fence, or do we leave it with the trees? That's our question right now, okay? The drainage issue, I believe, has been satisfied. Hopefully, depending on which way we go with the fence or the trees, that nothing, well, it has to be, they cannot create an issue where more water is gonna come off the property to adjacent properties, which I don't think would happen. But that's remains to be seen. Do we want to have a vote as to, I think we should vote the board to see which way we should go.
One question.
Sure, go ahead, Mike, I'm sorry.
That's all right. What type of wood are you gonna be using in this wooden 6-foot fence?
I haven't spoken to Yabu Fence, who is our vendor, but it would be long-lasting wood. We don't want to be changing fences every 5 years, so whatever the quality is that they have, that's top quality.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let me go to Andy. You want trees or fence? Consider everything that the applicant is saying in respect to Orange and Rockland with the hot box and everything else, because I know I went through all this with the American Legion post. We had to put a hot box in, so I know it's a concern. Okay, so,
What was the cost of the hot box?
I don't know what it is, but again, like the applicant said, you have to run electric to it, which they don't have.
I believe that if the trees are planted now, through the winter, they go dormancy, they'll survive. I'm for the trees.
Okay, thank you. Denise?
I'm okay with whatever, as long as the trench can get in and try to avoid water infiltration, honestly, so.
Like I said, the
I know it's
trench
separate,
asset
right?
is
I get, but they
completely-
can't do construction at all on the trench to do the repairs that he's proposing on the trench until we approve the site plan, right?
Correct.
So if the neighbors aren't concerned about a fence or a tree, then I'm not either.
Okay. Mike?
Is that trench already completed?
No, sir.
You still have more work on it?
Yes, it has to be expanded and lengthened, because the original construction was not done properly. So right now, it doesn't have the capacity
I
that
know
it
when it
was supposed to
collapsed.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm with Andy on trees.
Excuse me.
Let me ask you a question, being that you're still gonna have to do some more work out there.
Yes.
Do you have any extra dirt where on the side where the fenced trees are gonna go, that you could put a berm along the property line there to either raise the trees or raise the fence to divert whatever small amount of water might go that way, divert it along your property line to the west?
Yeah, there will be soil that will have to be excavated out to expand the trench. It'll be replaced with gravel. So a berm could be created along the northerly lot line to maintain any water in the cemetery, I'd take a quick look at it visually. We would put it in if it's effective. I just don't want to take the risk of potentially trapping water on
No, I agree
properties
with
if it's draining into the cemetery property and going on its merry way. We don't want to interfere with that and cause people problems that they don't have now.
Right, that's what I'm saying, if you have extra dirt to put along there on your side, and then just help the water continue down the property line without going on to the neighbors.
That can be done, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Mike?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I would just like to point something out.
Sure.
I mean, technically, the issue is not which place the board would rather. The application is for no fence. I'm sorry, no trees. So the vote is either to approve that or deny it.
Okay.
You can bring up your preferences, and if the applicant is willing to plant the trees, that's fine. But if they're not willing to plant the trees, the vote is not to tell them that they have to.
No, this,
It's gonna get denied or approved. So it's not what the board rathers, is whether you're going to approve the application or not. Rather than trees, and then tell them that they have to plant trees. The board is going to approve the application of the board. I'm just bringing it up because you phrased the question, which choice the board rathers, and that's not really what you're voting on. Voting on to whether to.
okay.
So it's possible that the board would rather the trees, but that doesn't mean that you can't.
Part of your proposal is a revision? Yes.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, the fence was part of the revision to the site plan. It was a request that we put in a fence instead of the trees.
It wasn't approved.
No, but it was, that's what we're
We're
asking
still
for.
talking up there.
Okay, so basically, we're saying, Andy, you still wanna go with the trees, which is what I'm getting at. Lisa, you're kinda with the trees, or, Mike?
I'm with for the trees, though.
Okay.
It's a decision
Okay,
was
thank you.
made back then.
I know. Mike?
Listen, I always understand the need for screenage for buildings going up. This is such a low impact, and it looks like the concerns are met for drainage. I'm just looking at it, I don't know, I don't see why the need for these large trees along the property line. And I've always been a big fan of trees along property lines. This is just a low-impact property with a little pavement area, which drainage is being improved, and the property line slopes to the west. I just don't see it. You know, if the fence is just as good as screenage for this low impact, you know, I could support this project. I just don't see the need for all the other stuff. Sorry.
Bruce?
I'm okay with the fence.
I might make just one comment or observation. In the two appearances that we've been here in front of the board, the only people that have come out of the public to comment were the neighbors on Swanican regarding the drainage. None of the neighbors on the north side of the property have come to comment on whether they want screening, don't want screening, or whether they want anything. So I think that really tells you that there's really not a problem here, whether it's fence or trees, and the fence is going to be maintained. The trees are more difficult to maintain. The chances are they may or may not survive overall. Again, it depends upon the climatic conditions, if there's a drought or they get shocked in some way, shape, or form. But my point is, the individuals who are supposedly affected have provided no comment to this board.
Well, either we approve what he's asking for, or we deny it. Yeah.
How did it come about to change the trees to a fence? If you feel that the trees are not necessary, what's the purpose for the fence?
Because at the time, it was my understanding in speaking with my client that the trees were to be installed for screening, not for water absorption. And the fence would provide the screening that the trees were intended to provide. Because the board wanted screening in that
No,
area.
the board wanted screening and they wanted trees.
My understanding that the board wanted trees for screening.
Right.
So we're proposing the alternate fence for screening because we can't reliably get a water source to maintain new trees.
But it's so wet back there, I mean, come on, you don't
Overly
need a
wet.
water.
It's not overly wet
Well,
back
that's
there.
what the
Where
gentleman
to the
has-
west it is, further west it is.
I do remember at the last meeting that
Excuse me.
the applicant had said that O&R wants this hot box, and I think that was the biggest bone of contention, where the cost of the hot box, which I think the church said that they would go along with, but they couldn't supply electric. The cost to get electric to it would have been prohibitive, because there's no electric
The hot
anywhere
box
around it.
requires the backflow preventer, the meter, the heated enclosure, and a heater, and the heater requires electricity.
So where is the letter from Veolia, Orange and Rockland,
I-
that states that,
It was not secured. It was verbal to Mr. Kintish
well,
that
then
they would not
I
turn
can't
the
accept,
water on.
I can't accept that on this board, that it was a verbal. I want to see a letter.
I understand your position, sir.
If I may make a suggestion, I think what would solve everything is ask for a continuation, get that letter from O&R, and then just get back to us. I don't know what the calendar is.
Maybe you just need to poll the board, there may be four
Okay,
to this person, it looks like.
Okay.
Poll the board to see.
okay. Andy,
Can we approve it with the condition that they submit a letter, like, telling us? No? No. Honestly, I don't know that they'd ever obtain that.
It's,
I had to deal with the hot box installation here for the town hall, which is a critical facility, and it took us a very, very long time.
I had the same,
It is a very complicated.
I had the same issue with trying to get water service to a preserve in the village of Upper Nyack. And that's where I came up with roughly $10,000 to install it, because that's what the village there is going to be paying to bring in the electrical service, bring in the hot box, and we're actually putting it in a shed, because it turns out it's a little bit cheaper.
Can I just say then, you're just looking for preliminary? Preliminary?
If I can get preliminary and final, we would appreciate it greatly.
Final?
This has no,
All right. No, I just noticed it wasn't on there for final, but if you
it
pull,
actually,
They have drainage, they have
Is it?
everything other than
yeah, pre-preliminary, preliminary,
to
and
do
final.
tree.
oh, I got the pink sheet. Does, yeah.
Okay.
But if you're polling the members, yeah, let's just poll the members and
Okay,
move on.
again, Andy, you still want the trees, okay?
Yes.
I'm okay with the fence.
Okay, Mike?
Trees.
That's not what we're voting on. We're voting on, do we support the amendment?
But is the amendment?
That's what it is, the submitted plans. They want to put a fence up.
Yeah, I agree with, I support the plan.
Okay, so you go along with the fence.
I go along with the fence.
Okay. And I'll go,
Falls in your court.
and I'll go along with the fence also. So it's 4 to 2.
So,
We request a formal vote.
Okay, so what'd you say?
lead agency, do you seek?
Yeah, okay, well, I just want to get this straightened out where we're going. Okay, can I have a motion for lead agent?
Motion for lead agency.
Okay, do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor? Aye. A motion for neg deck?
I'll make the motion for that.
Okay, okay, second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
A motion for final with conditions?
I'll make a motion for final.
Okay.
A second?
Well, I gotta put the conditions in.
Conditions, then you get a second.
Okay. Conditions are Office of Building and Zoning, Jane Slavin, December 20th, 3 comments. Department of Environmental Management and Engineering, Bruce Peters, September 24th, 2 comments. Bureau of Fire Prevention, September 9th, 1 comment. Booker Engineering, September 24th, 1 comment. Rockland County Department of Planning, September 20th, 1 comment. And that's it.
Can I have a copy of the Brooker letter, sir?
Excuse me?
Can I have a copy of the Brooker letter? It wasn't in this package.
No.
Came in.
Oh, thank you.
Came in after.
Thank you.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
2 opposed. 4 ayes, 2 opposed. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
But they didn't have a piece of paper on it.
Okay, the next one is Dynamic Event Group, Site PV 19-13.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. I know you.
Yeah, I've been making a pest of myself.
Once or
lately.
twice you've been here, right?
Yeah, a few times. Only the best projects, though.
Yes, sir. Could you explain your project?
Ron?
Our project is to add a 2,500 square foot addition to the west side of the existing Dynamic Productions.
Just give it a little twist, so it's, yeah, it's a directional light,
Yep,
so.
facility. We've been before the board before and had a number of comments which were addressed in this revised submission, primarily addressing concerns of Mr. Bruce Peters on a drainage system where we had initially proposed an underground drainage system to address the additional impervious area, and that has been revised to a above-ground stormwater retention pond. We had done the soil boring work with Mr. Peters present, as well as Brooker Engineering. They have approved the plan, and there were some additional comments regarding screening from our last submission. We added privacy slats to the fence. We relocated planters that were proposed on the plan, and we added 5 spruce trees in the northwest corner of the property for screening. There was questions regarding the trucks parked at the rear of the facility, and based on the list of the description of the operations, we've actually identified specific locations for each of the trucks in the parking spaces. We've also addressed fire department comments to add a new fire hydrant and show that there is a 600-foot or less travel distance from the rear of the property to a new fire hydrant to be installed on Hunt Road near Blaisdell Road, and the existing fire hydrant located near the south entrance along Blaisdell Road. We've also addressed comments regarding fence at the easement in the back, added the dimensions as requested by the fire department, and included a note to have a knockbox on that fence for access to it. And those were the primary revisions since our last appearance before the board.
Okay, good. Do you have anything to say?
Not at this time.
Okay, let me go through the consultants' reports. Project review has no additional comments. The Office of Building, Zoning, and Planning, Jane Slavin, September 20th. She has 9 comments. The Department of Environmental Management and Engineering, September 24th, Bruce Peters, he has 7 comments. The Bureau of Fire Prevention, Town of Orangetown, September 16th. They have a total of 9 comments. I also have a letter from the Bureau of Fire Prevention, September 9th, and they have 6 comments. I have a letter from Booker Engineering dated September 24th. The applicant has demonstrated mitigation of potential significant adverse impact with respect to stormwater runoff. We therefore recommend that the dynamic site plan be approved for the drainage subject to no conditions. Rockland County Department of Planning, September 16th. They have 14 comments. Rockland County Health, July 22nd, has 1 comment. Rockland County Highway Department, July 24th, they have 1 comment. I have a letter from Rockland County Planning dated July 15th, comments attached. I have a letter from Rockland County Planning, July 12th, again, comments attached. I have a letter from Emmanuel Law, June 20th, which is basically a narrative of
It's a response,
satisfying.
it's a response to the prior GML,
Right.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and then I have another letter from Land Associates, June 20th, which is, again, responding to questions and comments. It's many pages, it's a total of, I don't know, a bunch.
So there's a lot of attachments, which
Yep.
include all the previous
Yeah.
letters and comments. The letter itself is probably about 6 or 7.
Now, I also have, I don't know if it's put in the record or not, I have a letter from Department of Environmental Management dated September 22nd, 23. I don't know if these were read in or not.
In September,
September 22nd, 2023.
it should have been read into the,
I don't know if they were read in or not. It's not, usually it'll say on it, already read in.
Here's the package.
You know, see, I didn't get that, mine's loose. I don't-
Mr. Chairman, we were last here on September 27, 2023.
Okay, so I assume that would have been read in.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Gerard, anything else other than what I covered? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I'm gonna open up to the board. Andy, questions or comments?
Yeah, what are the dimensions of this addition? I don't see any.
It's the existing width of the building, which, well, you know what? A separate architectural plan. that goes with it. Shows a 150-foot width, which is the existing width of the building. And it's 70 feet further to the west from the existing building.
Hundred and 50 by 70. Is this going to be able to support all the stuff you got outside the building?
Well, not all of the stuff. I mean, a majority will be located inside. Trucks will be parked in the spaces that are shown there.
And that's all the trucks you're gonna have, because right now, when I go over there, there's a lot of trucks on that side of the building.
Well, there will never be that many trucks, because with the addition to the building, there will be no space for anything over there. We
So
have-
the-
we
So
have,
the trucks that are there now
will be
are-
relocated off-site,
they'll be relocated off-site.
yes. Items that will be outside, which are shown on the plan, which you see at the rear of the building, are the portable trailer, light towers, and generators.
That's all gonna go in the building or off-site?
Outside, which are shown the expanded parking area at the rear of the facility, for which we added the stormwater facilities to address the runoff from, or for the light towers and the generators. The drawing SP.21 shows the parking of the light towers and the generators, the rear corner of the building.
And nothing's gonna go on in the front of the building?
No.
The front being Hunt or Blaisdell?
Well, that corner, Hunt and Blaisdell. I mean, you're not gonna have trucks driving across the lawn anymore or anything like that?
That was stopped.
Because on Google Earth here, I see a whole bunch of stuff that's parked in front, to the north, right on Hunt Road, towards the front of the building. I count 11 tractor-trailer trailers there, which is pretty close to where the addition is gonna be, and there's trucks behind those tractor-trailers. So all of that stuff is gonna be off-site?
Well, no. Some of it is, the trailers, the extra trailers that won't fit would be off-site, but the contents, to the extent that they'll fit, will be fit within the building. That's the purpose of this, is to try to remedy the situation that has been in existence. So we're talking about a 10,500 square foot addition, one story, so racks all the way to the ceiling. No dividers. So there's a lot of storage room. I'm not that good at math to do the calculation for cubic feet, but it's a lot of storage, and they can fit a lot of material in there, and that is the intent.
Where is you have to add a fence around the property, correct?
Fence going on the Hunt Road side of the property.
And it's
Running-
gonna- Just a chain link fence?
Chain link, 8-foot chain link fence with privacy slats.
The whole length of the property on Hunt Road?
The whole length of the building and slightly beyond the addition. Won't extend toward Blaisdell Road. It's shown on a plan coming off the northeast front corner of the building, running toward Hunt Road, and then running parallel to Hunt Road toward the rear of the property, just past the area where they were parking the light trailers and generators.
Is there, is there a landscape plan here What, so the fence is being put up for what reason? What's the reason of the fence?
For screening,
Screening.
screening purposes, and then we show the addition of 5 white spruce trees near the entrance into the site from Hunt Road for additional screening, which was requested at the last meeting.
The last meeting didn't have any screening on Hunt Road at all, other than the 5?
It had the fence, and it showed the existing planters outside the fence. The board didn't like the look of those planters. There were weeds growing in them. They requested that we relocate those planters inside the fence, and we replaced those planters with the 5 spruce trees.
So, from the front of the building, which is on Blaisdell Road, the fence is gonna start at that corner, north, and go down Hunt Road to the emergency exit there? That road?
Yes.
So then that whole area on that side, you're gonna use that for what?
In the corner?
No, that area that's gonna have a fence on Hunt Road there, that side yard.
Oh.
The north side
That
yard.
area that's fenced in, that's gonna be for
Once it's
storage?
fenced in, what's gonna be there?
Nothing.
Grass, you're gonna grow grass?
Yes.
Because right now, there's no grass there.
There's grass there now.
You know, we just had an applicant before you about trees. Now we have another fence.
The fence
Yeah.
and trees.
We have a park across the street on Hunt Road.
We're proposing 5 new spruce trees on that corner to screen the park, as requested by the board at the last meeting. We're having a fence and trees. It's not a fence or trees.
I must have not been at that meeting. I have nothing further right now. I want to see what the
Thank you.
public has to say. I might
Denise?
come back.
Question or comments?
No, I guess the fence screening is an 8-foot fence with the privacy screening will look cleaner than it does right now. Will you have to remove or take down any trees to put the fence in? It kind of overlaps on your drawing here to the,
No,
your new spruce trees.
there are existing trees sort of midway on a property that act as existing screening. There's a garden area, there's some shrubs around the rear corner where the retention pond is going to be built that will have to be removed, but we're re-landscaping that area with the 5 new spruce trees shown on that corner for the purpose of screening the view from the park.
And then the fence, does it stop right there at that corner of your concrete pad for the portable generators?
Yes.
I guess that's all the questions I have for now.
Okay, thank you. Mike?
Thanks. Okay, just going back to the fence. You start out on Blaisdell Road at the, I guess that would be the northeast corner of the building,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then you go north. You go along till you get to just about where the new spruce trees are gonna be built. You have a double line, squiggle line, whatever it is there, I guess that indicates the fence. Is there the other one is, the other single, one is the fence and what is the other one? The proposed limit of disturbance?
Yes.
They're very similar in the,
The squiggle line is the limit of disturbance, the fence is the straight line with the X's.
okay, all right. Okay. All right, okay, it goes all the way over, okay. Now, okay, the trees will be planted out there. You're gonna move the material that's currently outside on the west side, that most of that's gonna go into the new proposed building?
Correct.
Yeah, what's the height on that proposed?
That's 24-foot high.
24, okay. So it fits within the fire department. Okay. Now, looking at the back, you got two on the north side towards the park, midway, right on the old building. You got two chain link fence enclosures. What's gonna be stored in there?
That's mechanical equipment for the building that's fenced in there.
Oh, okay. What is it, generators or?
Existing air conditioning units and so forth that
Okay.
have been in there.
It's for both of those areas, okay. All right. You got the AC units a little to the east of that.
Yeah, there's the smaller units there that address the front office space.
All right. Now, on the south side, the south side, you have the intermodal storage containers.
Yes,
What are they being used for?
for storage of equipment.
Same thing?
Mhm.
Any reason that using the trailers there rather than inside the building, or?
They're there now, they've been there, there's equipment in there. Obviously, there's also a lot at the rear of the property that needs to go into the building, so they need the space.
Okay. Now, I know at the project review, we were talking, or they were talking about the, using a filter, the water quality or water separator on for the detention pond.
Yes,
Okay. There was gonna be a filter used there?
yes, there's a filter to address the sediment and hydrocarbons that goes inside the catch basin.
Okay. And what was the life expectancy on that filter?
I don't know the life expectancy, but there's a maintenance
Maintenance plan,
program and a
okay.
checklist
So that's gonna be part of the...
form that's part of the drawing package, and that checklist would go into the maintenance plan
Right.
prepared for the approval,
Okay, and the filter will be changed according to the manufacturer's recommendations?
and routine inspections to check it.
And last thing, the fire department, is there any way to accommodate moving the access road away from the building, or?
We looked at that, but by shifting the fire lane to the west and moving the truck parking against the building,
Yeah.
when you come around the southwest corner, we have 2 rows of parking there.
Mm-hmm.
So that fire lane would basically require us to eliminate that parking. The only other way around it would be for the fire trucks to really go out into the easement with chromalloy in that road and
Right,
come
right
back
next
in.
to it.
So it was
Yeah, we're gonna just...
decided, leave it the way it's shown.
Right, makes sense on that. Okay. Yeah, because he says, looking at Bureau of Fire Prevention, September 16, 24 report number 1, says show that a fire apparatus with the attached dimensions can maneuver the property from both directions. Dimensions shown in the plan are incorrect. Have you discussed that with him yet?
He brought that up. I checked it on the drawings. We show a truck that's just over 43 feet with the wheelbase and all that was on the diagram that they gave us. I've got to go back and look at the drawing that was provided to see what difference he's referring to.
As I recall from the PRC, and Mr. Panicucci wasn't
Yeah.
there, I was.
Right.
But as I recall, there was a new fire truck that he wanted us to use as the template. The one
Right.
that's shown on the plan, these plans were submitted back in June.
Right.
That fire truck template was not available at that time, so we will update that.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's all I have at this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just for a second, I have a couple questions. Why the fence on the north side? If it's gonna be left lawn, there's a couple, I go by it every day, and I see guys out there working, they're painting, building, everything, which is, fine, and everything else. But why privacy fence, 8-foot privacy fence, if you're not gonna store anything there? That's my question.
It was proposed when this project started for screening along that side.
Because you're saying now you're not gonna use that for storage.
Right.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, there is the park across the street. I believe there's residences across the street. This is not obviously a residential facility. We just felt that it would be better for the neighbors.
Okay.
But the residents are on the.
They're on Blaisdell, they're not on Hunt, which has got nothing to do with.
Right, but still, across Hunt
Right,
is not industrial, so.
no, I understand. No, I'm just saying, because you're saying that you're leaving that area
Right.
as lawn and not using it for storage.
That's correct.
So I just wanted to get that into the record, so if for some, all of a sudden we see you storing stuff in there,
Yep.
it's gonna be an issue.
Absolutely.
Okay, Mike?
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, just a few comments. I know we've looked at this property for years. It's a mess over there. You have stuff stored everywhere. The planter boxes look terrible. I went by there today. It's almost like, it looks like it's right on the road. You have so much stuff stored over there. So I see your need to try to put it somewhere, right, into this warehouse addition here. But nothing has been taken care of over there since the last meeting. And we asked you, hey, can you clean this up a little bit? It's the worst property over there. You know, and people drive by there all the time, and you're like, man, everything looks terrible here. So if we can make an improvement there, I'm in on that. But I can't see how 5 spruce trees is enough screening. And this is a case for, I agree with more screening. You know, I don't understand why you didn't carry that along the whole fence line and offer some screening for the neighbors on Blasdale Road. Like, these are where the people live, and I went by there again tonight on the way here, and spotlights are shining over there. You can look right down the alley to all the stuff that's there. I feel like there's gotta be more concern for the residents that live there as opposed to the kids playing soccer. We can take care of that too. But the residents on this side, they have no screening according to this plan, and these spotlights are shining right across over there too. I don't know if we can do anything with the spotlights, but if we can make a change and say, all right, let's store as much stuff as we can, get it off the road, get that fence, and get screening to follow that right around. I think that'd be a good plan. You know, it would make the place look better. I understand you need a bunch of variances that kind of affect the other side, but I think we gotta pay more attention to the concerns of the neighbors on this road. 'Cause it seems like there's nothing was taken care of over here, you know? So if we can get the screening along here, I think that would help this out a lot and clean that property up, because it's the worst property over there. Everybody has nice vegetation buffer. This is just full of stuff all over the place. So let's clean it up and make it a nice property. I'm in on that. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Bruce?
Yeah, I think there should be some more screening,
Well, they're gonna have to go to
You know,
Ackleboard,
I mean,
so
and-
Ackleboard might turn around and screen. We can add
I
screening
know
too
you're
if you
gonna,
want.
you're gonna increase the size of the building, you're gonna hopefully put a lot of stuff that's outside is gonna go inside the building.
Mhm.
But what's the guarantee that it doesn't creep back outside, you know, when you grow, expand, do whatever you're gonna do?
Well, that's why I just asked the
Because
gentleman
it's kind
about
of a-
this screened-in area. He said it's gonna be 8-foot-high fence, and nothing's gonna be stored there. And it's on the record,
Yeah, but
and
I mean,
we just
what's
got,
the
that's why I
fence,
discussed
you know?
this with him.
How many meetings have we been to? 6?
Yeah, I
understand.
understand.
One neighbor.
Stuff behind it. At some point, it's gonna happen. You know, may not happen for a while, but it's gonna creep back, you know? That's my,
If it
because I
does,
mean, that stuff, I mean, it's been loaded with stuff.
Yeah, see, again, I don't know why, I agree, I don't know why the fence. If you wanna put some screening, plant a whole bunch of stuff there that's deer-proof and woodchuck-proof, and let Mother Nature have fun, that might be a better way. Again, you're saying you're not using that area for storage, so I think maybe make it nicer. I don't know. That's up to you guys. Mike, question?
Yeah, just looking at the plans there, the fence that you're coming from the building out with, within that area, as you go across, that's where you have your generators gonna be stored. You're gonna be storing other equipment at that location, the prop lights and everything. So wouldn't that fence also act as a security for your equipment? Is that part of the rationale behind it?
Rationale was screening.
Screening, right.
Screening.
But it also provides security for the equipment.
I mean,
It
there's a
does provide some
secondary, it
deterrence,
wasn't.
yes.
Right,
the
some
reason.
deterrence. Okay, well, thank you.
Okay. It's just my thought. Okay, anybody else on the board? Okay, I'm gonna open it up to, okay, go ahead, Mike, Andy, I'm sorry.
Down on the entranceway, it says gate. What are your plans? Put a gate up there?
On Blaisdell Road,
Yeah, where you come into your facility off of Blaisdell.
that's an existing gate.
There's a fire gate there now, just a pole laying across the road.
But that's open all the time.
That's open.
No,
No,
There's a gate on Hunt Road.
on Hunt Road,
That's
yeah,
closed.
right.
yeah,
The
that's closed.
same type of gate is present on Blaisdell Road that's open.
That's open, okay. All right. One other question. Have all the violations that you had or have they been satisfied through the courts?
As far as I know, all of that has been resolved, and part of the resolution is this proceeding.
So all of that has been resolved, but still, you go over there and it's, I mean.
Well, we're trying.
I can't put it in any nicer words, but it's a mess. And by putting up a fence that has screening in the fence, that reminds me of some of the junkyards that I've seen up in Haverstraw and North Rockland and stuff like that. This is a residential area. I don't believe a fence of that magnitude is gonna serve the public any good. Really, I mean, it's gonna make it look like a junkyard. Well, it's gonna make it look like a junkyard because it looks like a junkyard now.
We'll talk to the client about the fence
Well,
and replacing it with landscape screening.
That-
We'll speak with the client about that. We're hearing you loud and clear.
that's all I have, Tom.
Anybody else on the board? No, okay. Gonna open up to the public, have a motion to open to the public?
Motion to open public.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Okay. Anybody from the public wish to speak on this project? One more time. Anybody from the public wish to speak on this project? Okay, can I have a motion to close public?
Motion to close public portion.
Okay, second? All in favor? Aye, opposed. You wanna let them move on with preliminary? Okay, a motion for lead agent?
Motion for lead agency.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Tom,
Aye.
you wanna do this without a landscaping plan?
We can add that to it, we can make it a condition.
We gotta do this first.
He's gotta come back, we gotta do this first, but they have to come back. We're just letting them go to the next step. They gotta go to ACA board, and they have to come back to us again.
As long as they, I'll comment.
We can add that as a condition.
Mr. McCrory, we are not looking for final tonight.
I know, just,
No, you're not gonna get it.
just wanna make sure that's, we'll deal with that when it's condition time.
You're very happy at getting preliminary.
Do we get the lead agency?
Yeah, I didn't do that, we're in between. Okay, motion for lead agent?
I said lead agent.
Okay, do I have a
And
second?
That was second by Andy.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay,
Motion for neg deck.
motion for neg deck? Okay, and a second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None, okay. Okay, preliminary with conditions. Mike, get ready. Okay, Office of Building, Zoning, and Planning, Jane Slavin, September 20th. I think it's nine comments. Department of Environmental Management and Engineering, Town of Orangetown, September 20th, 7. Bureau of Fire Prevention, September 16th, 9. Bureau of Fire Prevention, September 9th, has 6. Booker Engineering, September 24th, has no comments. Rockland County Department of Planning, September 16th.
Mr. Chairman, can we hold that one off until a later time? We just got that today. I haven't had a chance to take a look at it.
Okay, who? Booker?
No, the GML.
Oh,
Gotta be part of the record.
Well,
Well,
I
yeah,
did-
no, that's fine. I don't know if we need any overrides. I just don't.
well, you
want-
gotta come back anyway,
All right,
so
I don't-
I
I
just
just
put it
want
in.
to make sure that
Yeah.
I'm not waiving my right to seek an override.
No,
Okay,
you're not. I'm gonna
great.
put it as a condition.
Okay.
If for some reason you come back and you don't like something, then it's a discussion.
Okay, that's fine.
But it's gotta go on the record now.
That's fine. I
Okay.
apologize. There's
Yeah,
23
no,
different
no problem.
jurisdictions in Rockland County. I don't know each one.
Chairman, can we
Sure.
hold that 1 second?
Mr. Manning, you want to take a look just to see if there's anything? 14 items.
One week and done it.
All right. Actually, it doesn't seem to be anything that jumps out at me. There are,
Myra, number one,
number one, I understand,
you,
yeah,
it was
we
already
want.
addressed.
I'm sorry?
It was already
It
addressed,
was already addressed.
so,
Why not leave it in?
no, because the county's saying he needs use variance.
Oh, okay.
We went through this.
Yeah, that's right, we don't, yeah, the county has a habit of doing that.
They do.
They pick up on one letter from 5 years ago and they never let it go.
Yep.
So yes, we would like an override on that.
Okay.
And literally, it was 5 years ago, March 2019,
And there were subsequent meetings
and changes, significant
And-
changes.
and
Okay.
changes, yes, that's right, Myra, there was changes made to the plan too.
Yeah,
Since then.
this building, this addition didn't exist back in March of 2019.
Right, the proposed addition.
Yeah,
did
The
not.
proposed addition.
proposed
Oh, the
addition.
building was there, don't,
Yeah, the
It's
it's been there since
I'm
'73.
sorry, the proposed addition. The
Right.
proposed addition didn't exist in 2019.
Yeah, okay.
That's correct, the plan we're reviewing now has been modified based on the comments that were made back in 2019.
Correct.
And as such, a lot of my comments were addressed, my concerns were addressed at that time. Because they wanted to, at that time, put all the storage outside.
Right, I remember that, yeah.
Right.
Okay, can I have a motion to override Rockland County Department of Planning September 16th letter, number 1? The reason is that it has already been addressed and satisfied. Is that good enough?
Okay, make the motion.
Okay. Mr. And, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you,
And if you have any issues, we can discuss them next meeting on anything else.
appreciate that, thank you.
Okay? Okay, Rockland County Health, July 22nd, they have one. Rockland County Highway, July 24th, they have one, and that's it. Mike, do you have anything else? I don't,
No, just we're gonna ask for conditions around landscape.
okay, yeah, and Mike, you have some issues you want on landscaping?
Yeah, we all agree on it?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, just to continue, the white spruce plantings along the north side of the property and the east side to screen the chain link fence.
Can I suggest an amendment to that, Mr. McCrory?
Yeah.
That instead of specifying white spruce, that we specify evergreens, because we want a little biodiversity in there.
All right, I'm just doing what you had 5 already there, it's just continuation of the
Of evergreen
the
screening.
evergreen screening
Yeah.
along that chain link fence.
There's also
Well,
a
with the
lot of-
possibility of eliminating the tree.
Right.
There's a lot of deer in that area. so
Again,
you
I mean,
don't
that's not a
want-
condition that they're gonna
Probably use,
remove it with the
Green giant
possibility.
arborvitae's and
Well, that's the
Leland cypress.
plan we're
Well,
in.
it's-
Chairman, too many people are talking.
Yeah, I know, I understand that, I'm
I
sorry.
can't keep up.
Well, I'm sorry, the plan we're approving right now has a chain link fence.
Correct.
All right,
Yeah,
so that's not changing.
understood.
All right,
But-
Except there was comments made requesting that chain link fence actually be eliminated or moved. Like, what's the
Yeah.
reason for creating that whole courtyard? So is
Right.
that a condition?
Mr. Manuel said he talked to the applicant.
Yeah.
They
We-
have
we-
to come
when-
back. So if we're not satisfied with what you come back with, we may discuss it further.
Right. I think that's fair, and I think that's appropriate.
Right, and the biodiversity of the different evergreens is what we usually ask for.
Right.
That'd be perfect to consider Leland cypress and the green giant arborvitae, both of which are deer resistant.
Okay?
And,
Yeah, we don't want to make a smorgasbord over there.
all right.
Okay, I've
Need
got
a
those noted.
motion For the landscape plan.
Yeah. Well, they have to go to the ACA board.
Yeah, I know, but doesn't matter, we make the motion that this be a condition.
Okay,
I agree. Yep,
all right.
okay.
Okay, all in favor?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? Okay. But the landscape plan.
Oh, that was just on the landscape plan, okay.
Landscape plan. Okay, anything else? No? Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Good luck, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. I'm gonna go over and pick that corn pretty soon. It's all dead.
Yeah, well, and I read your letters.
Okay, excuse me. Next is Amazon Delivery Center Site Plan, PB 24-39.
Always does.
Yes.
Ethan Bryce, B-R-I-C.
Daniel Patrick. Patrick.
Joseph George, spelled J-O-R-G.
Yes, sir.
All righty, thank you very much. For the record, my name is Daniel Patrick from the law firm Cuddy and Fader in White Plains, 445 Hamilton Avenue. I am joined this evening by Joe George and Ethan Bryce, the project engineers. We are here on behalf of Amazon. We are here requesting final site plan approval. As you might recall, Amazon appeared before your board a few times previously. Amazon's proposing 102 new EV charging stations in the existing paved parking area. They're also proposing new striping and new signage and new lighting. We received preliminary site plan approval in March of 2024, as well as a negative declaration for seeker. Since then, we have appeared before the ACA board, got approval from them. We appeared before the zoning board for the signage, received that approval as well. We've also been working closely with Fire Inspector Majeski regarding the installation of 2 new fire hydrants at the property to address some of the concerns that were raised previously. We proposed a plan to him, they were acceptable. We have some correspondence from him in the record. So we think we've addressed all of the comments that have arisen so far. We've reviewed the comment memos that have been received. We have no issues, no comments, so we are respectfully requesting final site plan approval this evening.
Okay, fine. Let me
Thank
go
you.
through the consultant's report. Project review has no additional comments. Office of Building, Zoning, and Planning, Jane Slavin, September 20th. She has 1 comment. The Department of Environmental Management and Engineering, Town of Orangetown, September 24th. Bruce Peters has 12 comments. I have a letter from the Bureau of Fire Prevention dated September 10th with 1 comment. I have a letter from Rockland County Department of Planning, September 16th. They have 7.2 comments. I have a letter from Alfred Gaddy, which is Orange and Rockland. Based on the plans provided, there may be gas conflicts with the proposed work at crossings. Please contact O&R New Business Department for any relocations or disconnects, reconnects. All Code 753 rules must be followed. I have a letter from Rockland County Planning, August 5th, stating comments attached. I have another from Rockland County Planning, August 5th, same comments attached. I have a letter from Rockland County Highway, August 16th, no comments at this time. And I have the old conditions. Okay. Gerard, anything else?
That'll be it.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Andy, questions or comments?
The spaces for the parking lot, are these vehicles, I can't remember, are these vehicles gonna be able to charge one right at the other? You got enough charging stations for each vehicle separate?
Yes.
So, and how many vehicles are gonna be charging?
So they're replacing 102 of their van fleet vehicles from internal combustion to EV.
So 102.
Correct.
And are they gonna be parked right next to each other? Or
Um,
gonna be a space in between?
They will be right next to each other.
What happens if one vehicle catches fire?
That was the back and forth we had very extensively with the fire inspector. We provided some information regarding the requirements for extinguishing the fires. That's when he recommended installing new hydrants, so we worked with his office to install those, or to propose those new hydrants, which are going to be installed.
You realize it takes 20,000 gallons of water to put out an EV.
I think the information we got from the manufacturer was 3,000 to 8,000 gallons per vehicle. But in any event, we provided the flow test. We think that, we know that there's going to be sufficient water capacity to address that.
So who said 3,000?
The manufacturer of the electric vehicles, Rivian. We included that with the prior submission, I think, back in December of 2023.
Because I know it takes 2,000 gallons of water to put out a regular automobile, gas automobile. So I can't believe that the manufacturer is telling you that it takes only 3,000 to 5,000.
3,000 to 8,000.
3,000, 8,000. I think this was brought up the last time about spacing, but yet nothing was done about it.
I don't recall there being any requests or recommendations that there be spacing between the vehicles. It's not something we incorporate in the plan. This is Amazon's typical design. It's no different than, storage of any other vehicle right next to each other. These can be parked right next to each other in any parking lot. There's 8 chargers outside of this building that are right next to each other, so we don't think it's necessarily a requirement that there be separation. But again, we're going to continue that dialogue with the fire inspector. If he has further concerns, we can discuss with him, but, we're of the opinion that we've addressed his issues and concerns.
I have no further questions right now.
Thank you. Denise? Thank you. Mike?
I think it wasn't the manufacturer, I think, that said the 3,000 to 8,000 gallons. That was International Association of Fire Chiefs. They, in their article, they said 3,000 to 8,000 gallons of water. I know you conducted the flow test, so the 2 hydrants will be set in there.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me see. All right, but it's going to be 102.
Yes.
Okay, because there's other numbers floating around.
No, so there's 100 stations themselves, but 102
Two
chargers, because
chargers,
2 of
right.
them are double chargers,
Yeah.
98 of them are
Because,
single chargers.
Department of Environmental Management and Engineering, number one, they
Yeah.
asked them, was 60 or 62 in phase 0.
Mhm.
But by phase 1, you'll have the 102 in?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And Rockland County Planning, all they put in is at least 99, so. I have nothing further than on that. Thank you.
Mike?
Thank you, Tom. Just to be clear, I know there's a lot of stuff going on at Amazon, and we get all these plans. Today is just for the charging stations in a parking lot that's already established?
Correct.
Is that what's going on here?
No
All right,
change of
because
operations, no increased
I know
building
there's been new
size.
parking lots made, but this is just, we're just here tonight for these charging stations.
Correct.
And 2 new hydrants.
All right,
Hydrants, of
hydrants,
course.
it's always good. And charging stations. All right, and then these are gonna be used to charge the fleet of Amazon delivery vans,
Correct.
which seems to be the way they're going, changing
Yeah.
over to all electric. and
They
you
have a
charging
net
somewhere.
zero carbon emission goal by 2040, so this is in furtherance of it, and, we've been discussing, there's a few other sites for Amazon in the area that are, going through the same process right now, so this is
All right.
not a one-off. They're trying to replace their entire fleet with EV vehicles, so.
Yeah. And I understand Mr. Andrews' concerns, because when these vehicles get compromised, whether it's, overuse, gets too cold, get too hot, they could have a problem. They can overheat and have thermal, run away, and then you have a big problem. So when these vans are out on the street, are they getting checked out at this facility, or they just going right to the parking and,
They do general maintenance,
the
they do
maintenance?
inspect
Did
them,
have
yeah.
an idea,
I don't know the protocol exactly for how
Right.
often it's
Because sometimes with the
inspected, but-
charging station, if they start overheating, there's some bells and whistles that'll notify and they shut down.
our electrical engineer can
Yeah,
speak
so
pretty eloquently about that.
We've incorporated an emergency shut-off switch as part of one of the original requests from the planning board.
Yeah.
So that's been incorporated, but the electrical chargers and all the electrical infrastructure, I'm not an electrical engineer, but it has been designed, our electrical engineers have designed it to the NEC code and all the local, federal, state codes. So if one of these vans that have been on the road for a while, if they're charging and they sense there's something wrong, there's automatic shut-off at these EV stations? How would it shut down? If there was like a trip or a fault? Yeah, it sense that a lot of these, the problem with a lot of these batteries is it gets overcharged, and then it starts heating up and then spreads throughout the whole battery pack. So there has to be something in these chargers that can sense, oh, this is overheating, something's wrong, and then, because you said there's automatic shut-off, so where's that? So I can't speak to the electrical design, I could get those questions answered, but it's everything has been designed to all the codes that are out there today. Because that's always the main concern with these electric vehicles, they're good until they're not good. So somebody's got to make sure they're being maintained, and you're gonna have something in place to make sure they're not overheating if something slips through the cracks too. So, and like Mr. Andrew said, once these cars get on fire, you're not putting them out, especially if they're all next to each other. By the time the fire department gets there, there's gonna be 4 cars going, at least. And you won't have enough water to put those out. So you just gotta make sure it's safe and make sure it's built to how it should be built.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay. Bruce, anything?
No.
Okay. Gonna open it up to the public.
Motion to open public
Okay,
portion.
do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Okay, anybody from the public wish to speak on this? Okay, one at a time, please come up, we have a microphone here. You're gonna be allowed 3 minutes. Only gotta push the 3-minute button, all right?
Have we done that tonight?
Okay, state your name and address for the record, whomever.
Hi, my name is Francesca Albert, and I live in Frantcheska. Albert is Albert. Albert, Albert. 1 Avis Court, Blauvelt, New York, 10913. Avis, AVIS, right behind the Amazon, or actually they're behind us. So there's several concerns that I personally have, and I think neighbors here will support me. Number one, 102 stations that they're proposing to install there. Is that for the cars that are already currently at that parking location? Or is there's going to be cars that come in from other places to charge? Number two, in case there is a fire or something like that, who is going to call the fire department or put the fire out? I don't know, there's people there 24/7. I went there once with concerns on my own. I couldn't find anybody there. The building was open, the cars parked everywhere, no one to be found. Another concern that I have, they haven't been a good neighbors in general. There is bright light day and night there. There's loud noises. 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, there's people talking in a loudspeaker to the drivers of their cars. I went there with a concern that their property overgrown and our fence was completely destroyed. My concerns were not addressed. So adding something new on already problems that exist, it's a big, big issue. Electrical vehicles is great, and we're all happy for the environment and everything, but I just don't feel that adding anything at this point will bring any good. There's going to be more traffic, more cars. I don't think there's going to be a supervision on how it's charged, when it's charged, and if something happened, who's responsible. So I just don't see the entire thing very well organized.
Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Lauren, Lauren, Privetti, Previte. I live at 4 Avis Court, so I have the blessing of Amazon, this whole thing right behind me. To Francesca's point, everything that she already stated, I 100% agree with. You know, we hear things all night long on the loudspeakers. I don't know if that's going to be the same with these electric vehicles all night long. If they're charging, coming in and out at various times. You know, when they were building it, the generator lights and everything were in my window at 2 a.m. and I don't sleep. You know, it's really in my backyard. So in addition to what Francesca said regarding the safety of the electric vehicles and the emergency shut-off that the gentleman spoke about, who actually is going to have the ability to shut it off? Who's in charge of that? Are people going to be trained? Is there a fire marshal there 24/7? You know, these electric vehicles go on fire, and to your point, Mr. McCrory, like one goes on fire, they all go on fire. We have a volunteer fire department. You know, I've seen a house burn down at 5 in the morning where it took a long time for them to come, let alone multiple vehicles. Additionally, we have a lot of electric problems where our own lights go out for days at a time. So I don't know with them taking off the electrical charge if we're all on one type of, you know, electrical box. I'm not an electrician, I don't work for O&R, but you already have a lot of problems when it comes to our electric and it being maintained, especially during the summer or in the winter, when there's blackouts and things like that. So that's also a concern in addition to fire. And if you know, power outages, safety, it's all in our backyard. We're dealing with it all the time, and maybe we're coming up here a little too late for all the other problems and the things that Amazon has already. But I think it's time to really mind what they're doing. No matter how much money they're bringing in, they're really affecting all of our properties in that neighborhood. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. State your name and address, please.
Vanessa Lappins, 659 Western Highway, Blauvelt, New York. I just wanted to raise the possibility if they could potentially make their own energy by covering that parking lot with solar panels, because while it's admirable to move to electric, I have an electric car, they're great, but we don't want to put so much pressure on the electrical grid and cause more, you know, outages and issues and pull on the system. So having the ability to cover the parking lot with panels, I've seen that done at HSS over in Westchester, and it seems to be, you know, working pretty well. So just a suggestion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Can I add one more thing? I have also a question about if something happened and they're saying there's thousands of gallons of water goes to put the fire out, where does the water gonna go? Is it gonna go to our backyards?
There's a drainage system.
This is a whole drainage system for
So
it.
they have already existing drainage system that's gonna prevent that from happening, okay.
We gotta get you a job. Anybody else?
Also, I'm sorry.
Not a man, then.
Also,
That's it, I'm sorry.
okay. Yeah, I'm done, they don't let me speak.
Okay, thank you very much. No, that's it, sir.
Motion to close public portion.
Okay, do I have a second? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.
You're entitled.
Okay, okay, first question. You're putting 102 spots. Are you bringing in outside vehicles at charge, or these vehicles on site?
These are all replacement vehicles for the existing internal combustion vehicles, so there's no increase in traffic, no additional vehicles. It's gonna be the same trips in and out daily, just different sort of vehicles.
Okay. Does everybody understand that? Okay, so it's basically an even swap.
Correct.
Okay. I guess they said that you knew if there is an incident with charging where there's a problem with one vehicle and an alarm goes off, is it an automatic alarm that shuts the system down and also alerts the fire department?
There's not an automatic system to call the fire department that we have implemented in the system. I'm not an electrical engineer, but my understanding is that if there would be some sort of fault or trip in the system, that the power would be shut off to the charger. It would just be cut off, same as if there was a fault or trip in your house, the power would be shut off to that source of power. So it follows the same type of codes and design that your household and building code would enforce.
Okay, and to kind of tag along with that, Amazon operation, like their operations within their system, they'll have their own people on site to call the fire department, and there is an emergency shut-off switch and whatnot. So it would be the responsibility of
That was my next question. Okay, and I know you can't implement the system that if for some reason it trips off, that it calls a fire, because then every time it trips, the fire will be there, regardless of, whatever the incident was, so that I know. Okay, so that should satisfy some of the other questions. Do any of the board members have any questions? Andy, anything else?
Just did a search, a Google search and everything. I don't know where everybody is getting their
To help,
information from.
to help your comment out, because we did have a fire flow test Veolia ran that for our fire suppression engineer when we designed the water line coming out. The line has available capacity to produce 1,636 gallons per minute for 2 hours. So that is what is the available water that's gonna be feeding
So
this
what
line.
happens after 2 hours? Electric vehicle, a lithium-ion battery can burn for days.
We can only do what's code required. Typically, the 2 hours
I
is the
understand,
minimum
but-
for fire. I mean,
You know,
And the fire inspector was comfortable with these numbers. I think given 2 hours of firefighting ability, they'd be able to amend their process at that point, but, you know, we can't provide unlimited water.
I think regulations should be changed and people should really start looking at this seriously. I have nothing further right now.
Okay. Because the, Andy, the Bureau of Fire Prevention, they have no further comments. So they've, you know,
But everything that I could search and everything that I searched tells me 20 to 50,000 gallons of water, and that's not, and the hydrants aren't gonna supply that, especially when you got 102 vehicles parked right next to each other. I don't understand how you guys could come here, present this. Don't you look it up? Don't you try and figure out how many gallons of water this is gonna take to put out a fire?
We've provided that information, and like we've indicated, the fire inspector is comfortable with what we're proposing, and
I
We're-
understand, but only common sense.
Mhm.
It's your job to look up and see how many gallons of water it takes to put out these fires.
Understood.
No, the only other comment was, a good insight. I know you're just switching over to EV, or, but is there potential to use solar or have solar panels be used and produce your own power? Is that something Amazon considers?
I think Amazon's considered it for the immediate future. They're looking at just renovating the vehicles and replacing the vehicles. They might go towards solar in the future, but for the time being, it's just replacing the vehicles.
thank you. Mike, anything else? What do you have, a 24-hour operation over there?
I believe so, yeah.
I don't think originally, what was it approved for? I don't think it was approved for 24. I don't have the,
I think it was, yeah. Yeah, the original approval from the zoning board was 2019. Yeah.
was, I'm trying to remember, because I don't have a copy of the EAF, otherwise I'd look at it, but I remember the screening, I remember the sound attenuation barriers that were put up. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Mike?
I mean, I remember the whole process when this was going through, and it sounded like you guys were gonna have the screening, the fence, gonna be good neighbors, and so it bothers me to hear that the neighbors aren't happy with what's going on there. Fortunately, we're here for parking lot EVs, but, I mean, I wish you could hear this and be like, we have to be better neighbors. I mean, it's not nothing in print, obviously, but, when you went through the process, you're like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. Here's the neighbors, we care about them, and so it's just disheartening to hear
No,
that
and
things have changed since.
I will say,
yeah.
I'm the land use attorney, so I'm not on the site day to day. This is the first I'm hearing of these issues and these concerns. I'm happy to provide my contact information to these neighbors in case there are any issues. I can hopefully put them in touch with the appropriate person at this Amazon facility. But again, this is the first I'm hearing of these as well, so
All right,
we know
so
we're not
take-
trying to.
Take that into
Of course,
consideration.
yeah.
And, look, great idea with the solar panels and these huge parking spots,
Mhm.
these parking lots. I go down to I went down to the Phillies game, and they have them.
Yeah.
Stadiums are putting these into their parking lots. They provide shade when you're hanging out, but also a good use of solar energy, you
Yeah.
know? So something to explore. Like I said, we're not here for that. We're here for this, so there's kind of limited what we can do, but,
Yep.
a lot of great ideas. Just listen to the neighbors, and
Absolutely.
you'll be a good neighbor, right?
I think so, yeah.
That's it.
So, in reference to that, our town did adopt a code, and there's a whole required in order
Bruce, anything? No. Okay. All right, motion to reaffirm sequel?
Motion to
Or for lead age, rather, I'm sorry. No, it's a sequel.
You were right. You did secret preliminary, so reaffirm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Motion to reaffirm sequel.
reaffirm sequel. Okay, do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Motion for final with conditions?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, conditions are. Okay, Jane Slavin, September 20th, letter 1. Department of Environmental Management and Engineering, Bruce Peters, September 24th, has 12. Bureau of Fire Prevention, September 10th, has 1. The Rockland County Department of Planning, September 16th, has 7.2. And Alfred Gaddy, August 16th letter. And that's it. Do I have a second? Second. Okay, all in favor? Aye, opposed? None, okay. Okay, one opposition, okay? Thank you very much. Good luck
Thank
with your
you.
project.
Thank you very much.
Again, if you guys can, talk to
Yeah.
your boss, see if you can do something with your neighbors, up a little bit, keep the noise
Put
down.
along, of course.
Look where the lights are coming from, okay?
Yep, we'll do.
Whatever you can, be a good neighbor.
We're trying much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, because the lighting plan showed it
Yeah.
on property.
Okay, next is Nice Pack, PDI Site Plan, PB 2440.
Hi.
Good evening. Okay, folks, can you go outside? We got a lot more. Thank you. Yes, gentlemen, what can I do you for?
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
My name is Bill Cavazzini, C-A-V-A-Z-Z-I-N-I. I live at 525 Avalon Gardens Drive, Nanuet.
I'm Edward Fascioli. Or F-A-C-C-I-O-L-I. I'm at 228 Valley Road, Valley Cottage, New York.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Our project is to install two 30,000-gallon underground storage tanks. They're dual-walled fiberglass. Then we'll have pumping that will go, dual-wall fiberglass piping that will go from the tanks into a pumping station that we plan to build. It would be in addition to an existing building, existing pumping station. Then from there, the piping will be stainless steel above ground, and then that will go into our building, into our process. What I'm looking for today is to have a final approval on the site plan and also to do a SEQA review.
Okay. Quick question. When you pump from the ground into the building, does it go into another holding tank, or does it get processed right away?
It gets processed right away because it goes into a filter and then it goes.
Yeah, whatever the mechanics are.
Goes into whatever we have to do.
Yeah, it's not being held, is what I'm
No.
getting at. Okay, good, thank you. Okay. Let me go through the project comments. Project review has no additional comments. Office of Building, Zoning, and Planning, Jane Slavin, September 20th. I have to make one correction on this. On number 1, you're not putting in two 30-gallon tanks, you're putting in 30,000-gallon tanks.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, she has, September 20th letter, she has 4 comments. Department of Environmental Management and Engineering, September 24th, Bruce Peters has 4 comments. The Bureau of Fire Prevention, Town of Orangetown, September 10th, has 1 comment. Booker Engineering, September 24th. Based on the information provided, there will be no potential significant adverse impact with respect to stormwater runoff that require mitigation. Therefore, we recommend that Nice Pack site plan be approved for drainage, subject to the above project comments, of which there are 3. Rockland County Department of Planning, September 12th. They have 12 comments. I have a letter from Rockland County Planning, July 11th, it looks like, or 1, I'm not sure, consenting the town of Orangetown being planning, lead agent.
Mhm.
I have another letter from Rockland County Planning, July 1st, comments attached. And I have the Rockland County Environmental Health letter, July 12th. We have one letter. And, yeah, okay, it should be in here. I have a narrative from PDI Professional Disposals Incorporated. That's dated June 5th, 2024.
That's from me.
Huh?
That was me.
Okay. Well, I'm putting it in the record.
Sure.
And I have, that's the application. The short EAF is dated June 6th, 2024.
Yes.
Okay. Gerard, anything else?
Nope, that'll be it.
Okay, thank you. Andy, questions or comments?
These tanks are gonna be completely underground?
Yes,
Buried with soil around them and
Yes.
stuff like that?
yes. With a 10-inch concrete slab above. With rebar, all designed. So
What protects the tanks? What are they made of, fiberglass?
they're fiberglass, but they're dual wall fiberglass, and there is an interstitial brine solution. And then what we have is a level sensor on that, so we can tell if there is a leak one way or the other, either into the tank or into the interstitial space.
So what if it's punctured on both walls? You know, 'cause
Then what we'll have is the level sensor, the level monitor will then go off, and then the system will be looked at from that point of view. We have 3 of these tanks already in place, all right? And they've been, GPI designed those and supervised the construction of those 20 years ago.
And no problem?
No problems.
Because I know, like the earth shifts
Mhm.
and rocks could penetrate fiberglass.
Well, that's why they're dual wall.
The backfill's gonna be a manufactured approved backfill of pea gravel.
Yeah, don't they usually put a sand barrier and then go to a larger item as it goes further out?
Usually it's, for fiberglass tanks, it's a pea gravel,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah, because it's
Steel
round,
tank,
it's round, there's nothing, no sharp edges.
Yeah, steel tank, they'll use sand, more likely.
And also, there are dead men that are 10-foot wide or long, concrete curb barriers, if you will. They're large, and they're spaced down the length of the tanks. And those are held in place by fiberglass straps that go over the top and connect one side to the other. So the tanks are pretty stable in there.
Thank you. Okay. Denise?
The underground pipe is double lined,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And then you said it transitions to stainless steel above
Right,
ground?
as it comes up.
Is there like, I don't see any like drainage or pit or something to catch in case something that's not double lined punctures or fails? Or is that not necessary?
And we
You're
don't,
talking about all the above ground?
above ground.
Yeah, the stuff that's not double lined, is there any other like safeties and like, are there sensors or?
There's no sensors that are outside on the pad there, no.
Well, I think that in the narrative, you had mentioned that from the tank into the building, the pipes were all double lined. Coming out of the tank into the building? Oh, okay, maybe I was
No,
wrong.
it's required by the state and by Rockland County Health and by the feds, that anything underground has to be double wall.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
No, because what Denise is worried about, if piping above ground got punctured for some reason, is there
Right,
anything to
yeah.
contain that?
It's Schedule 10, 316L stainless steel, so has a very, very long life, and it has almost no corrosion to it at all.
Okay, the pipes that go from the tank into the building, are they also underground, in like a trough, or are they above ground?
They're above ground.
Okay.
They're the same as you used
Yeah, we have the same system. We have actually 6 pumps there, and we have that same system in place.
they're protected, like nothing's gonna be going over there.
No, there's a chain link fence.
Surrounds the pump
Surrounds
station.
it, and then we're going to extend that for these 2 additional pumps that we're putting in another slab there to support just these 2 pumps.
The steel roof over the whole thing. It's protected by what, from weather?
Like a canopy or something, right?
Yeah.
Existing canopy over the existing units, and they're,
Yeah.
cover the new.
Yeah.
And then, so I just saw that the short environmental form that you said, does any portion of the site adjoin, wetlands, and you checked yes, and it said, if yes, identify the wetlands and stuff, and that was blank. Number 13,
We'll take a look at that.
Yeah, I have to take a look at that.
I mean, you show the wetlands on there.
Yeah, the wetlands are clearly shown on all the drawings. These site plans have been shown to the town and the planning board over the course of years, so,
It just like wasn't consistent, like it's checked yes, and it didn't have the square footage or acre below it.
Oh.
That's all.
Well, you're not affecting the wetlands.
we're not affecting the wetlands.
Near there,
Yeah.
you're near there, but not on there.
Right.
Question, if it's a 10-acre site, and it's up in the corner of a 10-acre site, and 5 acres away from the building, you still have to state that there's wetlands on the parcel.
Mhm.
That's it, but they're not disturbing the wetlands.
Right. We specifically located this project to be away from the
I'm
wetlands.
following it, sorry.
Yeah, no, no, that's a good question, because it's something that we thought about, and
That is often, the wording on that is often confused.
Gotcha, okay, that's all for me.
Okay, Mike, question?
Yeah, okay, referring to Rockland County Plan number 2. What materials that you're storing in there, are those the same ones that you currently store
Yes.
on the isopropyl alcohol and the denatured alcohol?
yes.
Okay, and say a question. So you have that in there, you have no problems with that, and you're complying with the current federal and state permitting
Yes.
or emergency? I figured as much
Mhm.
in that, it's Rockland County Planning 3. The question I have though is, when you go into that back corner, okay, you go down the, let me see what side it is. You go around to the back where you have the storage tanks, all the piping and everything. You have and this is where, if you look at that corner, which I guess would be the southeast corner on the bottom.
Which drawing,
You're talking about
what drawing
right
number
here?
are you on, sir?
I'm on number C001.
Okay. Okay. North would be to the top of the page. North is to the top of the page.
Okay, so it'd be the southeast corner.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you have there's an entrance there, right? You have truck parking, this to the south of this little entrance. That entrance takes you into the back area. Now, with the building of the underground storage tanks, with the valves and controls, that seems to almost, does that block?
No, no. It'll cross the road, but there's no change to the fire road. That was a question that
Right.
the fire inspector, Mr.
Right.
Majewski, had asked, and we're not going to affect the fire road.
Okay, because it's a limited space there, because I was back there.
Yes,
That little entranceway is enough for a truck or so.
right,
You have trucks parked.
yes,
You have the building.
yes,
And you got the little area, takes you into the back where all the other trucks.
right.
Yeah, there's plenty of room back there for
Yeah,
trucks.
Yeah.
but I'm just talking about that little.
What you think is a bottleneck, right?
Yeah.
I get it, yeah. No,
Right.
I understand.
So that everything else is still back against the walls and everything else will be underground, so,
Yes,
okay, and trucks be going over the underground storage tanks at that point?
yes. Well, they can park themselves on top of the underground storage tanks.
For
That's why,
delivery.
for deliveries, they're unloading. That's why they're 10-inch, that's why it's a 10-inch slab. That's what we have on the existing 3 tanks. Those are dual compartment, dual wall.
Right, yeah,
Okay.
okay. Just wanted to make sure, because it's not a big, because I have to let the truck go out first.
Yeah, he's bigger than everybody. Good idea.
Anything else this time?
Okay, thank you very much. Mike, anything?
Thank you.
Just a couple comments. You've been in business since 1985?
Yes,
Up there, and you've
up
been
there.
operating with 3 tanks already, or 4 tanks?
Those tanks, well, we had 4 tanks. The one on the south side of the building, okay, been there since 1985. That we designate as Tank 7. These other 3 tanks were put in by GPI and our local construction manager, 2004, 5, right?
Yep.
Something like that, so those have
Right,
been
and
there
you're
for 20
adding
years.
2 more tanks to that same area that.
Yes.
And you can see the concern, because that's the side, that's actually the side the wetlands are on, that side, according to, yeah, all right.
Well, there's wetlands there, there's wetlands to the south, and there's wetlands to the north, actually, also.
Yeah, but where these tanks are, that's probably the closest area.
Yes.
To the wetlands there. So any, Rock and Plain number 4 brings that up.
Yes.
And they talk about a review must be completed by the United States Army Corps of Engineers.
Okay, well, the issue with that is that if you're within 50 feet of the wetlands, then you have to do that, but we're at 57 feet, 6 inches.
Or just wondering how you're gonna satisfy that comment?
Well, we're gonna state that we are,
Further away.
we're further away, okay?
All right, they get to review that? I assume they reviewed these plans here and don't agree?
Yes, and we had a letter from the DEC that addressed all of these particular comments, and we had a preliminary meeting with the planning board back in December, and we had the PRC meeting recently, and we talked about how we're going to be away from the wetlands by that reasonable amount, and we did that specifically so we wouldn't have to go through all of this issue with the Corps of Engineers and so
Yeah,
on.
yeah, just wondering why they reviewed these same plans and they
Yes.
came up with a different,
Well, they stated the same thing that,
we needed that.
yeah, we needed that, little break in the action. Yeah,
All he's saying is that
I thought we could take a dance break, sorry.
if it needs review, it needs a review. If it doesn't, then they have to just state why they don't need it.
Yeah.
So if you can
Oh, boy, here we go.
provide,
And you're here for final?
yes,
so it could be a condition that they have to provide.
Yeah, because it kind of sticks out.
yes,
The dimension
Yeah.
and the regulations and proof that you're complying with,
yes, okay.
Yeah,
We,
we're gonna have to respond to that comment, that's how we would
Yeah.
respond.
Yeah, you would,
and we
because you have to
recently,
respond to that comment.
well, I responded to the comment that the DEC provided, okay, with a letter that I had submitted to the building department, back, early September, okay? And so we addressed that particular comment, they raised the same comment, and then we did update the drawings recently and resubmitted that drawing with that information on there about how far we are away from the wetlands.
All right.
So-
That'll
so we
be
can-
part of your conditions, so you
Yeah,
gotta
that's
make sure
fine.
that's squared away
Yeah, yeah, no, it's
to
on
wrap
there.
everything up here.
Right, and we also talked about the area of disturbance and a few other,
All right, so
Few other
something you
issues.
still gotta tie up and
okay.
and make better.
Question, what is the difference in distance from the old tanks, existing tanks, to the wetlands, and the new tanks to the wetlands? I don't know if you're gonna be able to get the scale on that, if you want
Yeah,
to
it's
bring
gonna
a
be a
map.
tough
Yeah, well, I have a mini size here, because this is easier to
No,
work
no,
with.
I understand it, I'm just saying.
Yeah, we'd have to take a look
We'd
at
have to
that.
take a look at that and
answer
and
that
figure it
after.
out, yeah,
See where the tanks are.
yeah.
You know,
What's the scale?
See, we're
Scale's
from
down
here
the
to
bottom,
there,
okay.
and then you're from here to there, so,
I'm just wondering if here's 50.
actually looks about the same distance
Mm-hmm.
because of the shape of the wetland delineation.
right.
Looks like, it's really hard to say.
You
To
know,
go on AutoCAD and do it.
They'll go to the AutoCAD and get a number.
Both about the same, this is, all right, because I was hoping that the old ones, the existing were 6 inches closer, if you know what I mean, and this way it wouldn't be. We're closer to the wetlands that are already approved, and now
Oh,
we're
okay.
putting
I see where
something
you're
in that's
going.
6
Okay.
inches further away.
Yeah, okay,
If you know what I meant.
now I get you,
That's it for my comments.
thank you.
Nothing? Okay. Anybody else, any questions? Okay, motion to open up to the public?
Motion open public
Oh, do I have a
portion.
second? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody from the public wish to speak on this project? One more time. Anybody from the public wish to speak on this project? Okay, hearing none, a motion to close? Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. a motion to reaffirm or reaffirm lead agent?
Motion for lead agency.
I don't think you did secret.
This is a new application,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, so.
So it's a motion for lead
Okay,
agency.
okay, good. Okay, motion for lead agent?
I did.
Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none? Motion for, neg deck?
Motion for neg deck.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, none? Motion for final with conditions? Okay, conditions are, the first thing is in respect to, the Army Corps of Engineers, just getting a confirmation on that distance from the new tank to the, wetlands. Okay. Office of Building, Zoning, Planning, Jane Slavin, September 20th, she has 4 comments. Department of Environmental Management and Engineering, Bruce Peters, September 24th, 4 comments. Bureau of Fire Prevention, September 10th, 1 comment. Booker Engineering, September 24th, 3 comments. Rockland County Planning, September 12th. They have 12 comments. Rockland County Health, July 20th, they have 1 comment. And that's all. Anybody, anything else? Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Got your final. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask 2 questions here?
Sure.
Okay. To respond to these comments, I would write a letter to the planning board and to the building department? Okay, all right, that's fine. And one other comment that I guess I had was, Jane, I appreciated that, or Director Slavin, sorry. I appreciated that you went through the EAF form and so on, but I just didn't understand where these other, for question number 20, where these other hazardous waste sites were identified from.
Well, what happens is the state puts out an EAF mapper
Right,
program.
right.
You enter the address in.
Yes,
And if you do the long form,
yes.
it'll list it for you.
Oh, yeah?
So on the short form, it tags yes.
Right.
But then you have to run the long form again, and it gives you the list of the sites.
And it gives you the listing.
Yeah,
Okay,
So that's what I did. I ran the short form and the long form to check your form. And the long form, gave me the actual sites.
okay,
So moving forward, you
okay.
do both. If something on the short form flags a yes, if you run the long form, it'll give you additional information.
Okay,
And if you look at Rockland County Planning number 10, they tell you, it's EAF mapper application.
yes. And I actually, I got these comments this afternoon. And I did go to the mapper, and I ran the short form report. So I'm aware of what you're saying. It had a little bit of difficulty going for the EAF workbook. I had a little bit of trouble getting to that, but I finally found it,
Right.
because they referenced that, but okay. But I didn't go to the long form.
The workbook is a 300-page book. The whole workbook is very extensive. So you have the short form, you run the short form. If it flags something, then you can run the long form, and then you compare the two,
Okay.
and it gives you additional information.
Okay,
Want,
sure. You can always use more sets. Always use more sets, especially when you got construction going on. Okay, very good.
We're getting all the plans?
I'm glad we pick up truck.
Yeah, I
Got
know.
some extra ones there too. I think you got Amazon.
Got Amazon? No.
Give me the big one back.
Amazon.
Thank you very much. You don't want them?
Okay, next is 25 Whitler Road subdivision site plan, PV 24-41. Please step up, state your name and address for the record, and seen you in a while.
Yeah, I'm here for a warehouse with 40-foot fences tonight. No. All right. So,
Yes, sir.
My name is Jesse Coakley with Colliers Engineering and Design, engineer of record for the project on behalf of the applicant. We're here tonight for a proposed 3-lot minor subdivision. at 25 Whittier Road, which is also tax lot 65.18-1-13. The existing lot is just under 3.3 total acres in the R40 zone and has an existing single-family residence in the southeast corner of the property near the intersection of Bradley Hill Road and Whittier Road. The west side of the property also fronts on Route 303. We're looking to subdivide the property to create 3 total lots, each complying with the R40 bulk regulations, but are not seeking to actually develop the lots at this time. We're strictly seeking the subdivision of the property. The existing house would remain on Lot 2, what we're calling proposed Lot 2, and then there would be 2 lots, to the north, and then to the west of that would be new, effectively new lots. We did include with the application what we called a plot plan that shows conceptual improvements for proposed lots 1 and 3. It includes houses, basically just boxes, driveways, grading, approximate utility locations, for how the lots could be developed to demonstrate bulk compliance. But again, we're not looking to actually construct those properties right now. The applicant is strictly seeking to subdivide the property into 3 compliant lots and then potentially sell those other 2 lots off to, a potential home buyer, developer who would want to put single-family homes on there. And you can see in the area, this is on that Whittier Road, which is a private road, actually. It's the biggest piece of property in that area. They're all much smaller. I think some of them are R40, but there may even be, I think part of the lot is actually in a smaller zone. I just have to double check that, but it's a small portion that isn't on there. It's actually the LO zone because there's an industrial property to the north. So that's what we're here for tonight, just the subdivision, that's it.
Question.
Yeah.
You have 1 conforming lot now, and your desire is to divide it into 3 conforming lots?
That is
You're
correct.
asking for no variances?
That is correct. We do need a variance for
There's one existing
access.
non-conforming front yard setback to the existing structure which is remaining.
Okay, so that's on the existing,
Yeah,
existing home.
to the
Which is
exist,
CO'd and has been
Right,
approved.
so the other 2 lots, were they to be subdivided off the main, they would be completely conforming?
completely conforming. And the plot plan that we provided shows how a house could be built there, but you wouldn't be approving that plot plan.
No,
Anyone
I
that-
understand, we're
okay.
just approving a lot line. No,
Yep.
I understand.
Yep,
I
okay.
understand. Okay, let me go through the consultant's reports. The project review has no additional comments. Okay, I have a narrative summary. Do I have a date?
June 28th, 2024. It's right at the,
Okay,
Yeah, June 28th.
okay, oh, yeah, there it is, I'm sorry, June
sorry
28th.
about that.
Okay. Good. Office of Building, Zoning, and Planning, Jane Slavin, September 20th. She has 3 comments. A letter from Department of Environmental Management and Engineering, Town of Orangetown, September 24th. Bruce Peters has 34 comments. Bureau of Fire Prevention, September 16th. They have 3 comments. Let me just, wait a minute, hold just that, yeah, no. I have 2 letters, actually. One is September 16th with 3 comments, and I also have a letter from the Bureau of Fire Prevention, September 10th, with 2 comments. I have a letter from the Town of Orangetown Office of Recreational Parks, dated July 25th, which is a narrative. I have a letter from James Dean, Department of Highway, Town of Orangetown, September 25th. Please be advised that Whittier is not a town road and does not appear on the New York State Local Highway Inventory. I have a letter from Department of Planning, Rockland County Department of Planning, September 16th. They have 13 comments. I have a letter from Rockland County Health, August 6th, 2 comments. I have a letter from Rockland County Sewer District,
number 1, September 6th, 2 comments. I have two of the same letter. Okay, oh, wait a minute, is it? Wait a minute, excuse me, just a second. No. Rockland County Sewer District number 1, September 6th, with 2 comments. I have another one. Oh, this is Palisades Library, I'm sorry. Okay. And I have a letter from Cheryl Coop, this one from Alfred Gaddy, being that this is only a lot line subdivision and no construction activities, there are no gas conflicts, please contact owner our new business department for any new customers. And I have a letter from Town of Orangetown ZBA, July 31st, consenting Town of Orangetown Planning Board Service Lead Agent. I have a letter from Town of Orangetown ZBA, July 31, no comments at this time. A letter from Rockland County Planning Department on July 23rd, comments attached. I have a letter from Rockland County Planning, July 23rd, consenting Town of Orangetown Planning Board Service Lead Agent. I have a letter from Rockland County Highway, August 2nd, no further correspondence. I have a letter from Rockland County Highway, August 2nd, consenting Town of Orangetown Planning Board Service Lead Agent. And I have a short EAF dated
June 19th, 24.
Excuse me?
June 19th.
June 19th, 2024. Okay, Jared, anything else?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Oh, wait a minute, excuse me. I have the letter from Collier dated July 10th to Bruce Peters. And I also have another letter. This is the narrative.
Narrative.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Andy, questions or comments?
Yeah, I have just one question here. It says on this smaller, I guess it's a plot plan or a survey, it has 2 cleanouts. Do you know what those cleanouts are?
We believe those are for the existing dwelling. You can see down in the right-of-way of 303, there's a manhole, a sewer manhole. The surveyor wasn't able to open that, but I think that's where their sewer line goes to, the sewer service for the
So
house.
it's a sewer line, not a septic tank or anything?
Correct.
So what's gonna happen with those cleanouts?
So those would remain in place. Mr. Peters has a comment about providing easements for that, and then any of the, if it traverses the new lot, and then vice versa, the new lots, when they would be constructed, would probably need an easement to get to the sewer as well, if they were to meet before, but we don't know their orientation yet.
I have nothing further right now.
Thank you. Denise?
I guess it's just that first comment, it says, all required subdivision improvements, site, roadway, drainage, sanitary, et cetera, must be designed in accordance with the Town of Orangetown Town Code and depicted on drawings now in order for subdivision to be approved.
So it's a minor subdivision. I don't think all of those things are required, and if we're not actually constructing the homes, I don't know what to show. Like, we have a plot plan that shows they can be built, you know, and our thought process is, we have that plot plan there. We would probably just embellish that with, you know, some of the other information that Mr. Peters is looking for. But as soon as they sold that lot to someone, they could come in and they're gonna pick a different home, a different driveway, a different this, a different that, and they're gonna have to be back to
Well, they
have
gotta
that
go
whole
back
thing
anyway,
reviewed anyway, and
regardless.
go to Akabor for whatever
Right.
their house is gonna look like. So we're trying to do this as, you know, efficient as possible on our end at this point by, you know, showing you that, the board, that this, you know, is a lot in a zone that is big enough to be subdivided and create 3 conforming lots, right? And they would look to sell those other 2 off, and then someone else would come back in when they pick a house, you know, whatever size, and they would come in and, you know, be before the town and Akabor for all of those related improvements. Because we can do it now, but it's just gonna get redone, and there isn't like a a benefit to doing it now, per se. Unless they want it to be built, but that's not what this applicant is looking to do.
So essentially, right, you're just.
Because
You can't design something unless you can show that you can subdivide it, and then you want to just show that, that's what you're.
Right, we're showing that it can be done, and the minor subdivision regulations, which this is categorized as, doesn't require all of that to be done. Mr. Peters also says that the road has to be 24 feet wide. It's not a town road. We have a letter from the highway superintendent saying that. The fire inspector said it only needs to be 20 feet wide. We demonstrated that. He's asking us to demonstrate that it could support 75,000 pounds. We can look into doing that. It is an existing, again, private road. When we were at PRC, the applicant and their attorney have been looking into the agreement of that private road to see, like, what can we even do to that road if we wanted to, because there's other, people that use it. There's, I think, including the home that's on this property today, there's another 4 houses that come off of Whittier Road right now. With this subdivision, it would just be one extra driveway that accesses that private road right now. So we can look into that and try to give him that, comfort that it can support the fire truck, but it's there today. It serves the other 5 homes on that street now. But we're just trying to subdivide the property.
And you're not changing the road either? You're
We're
not doing anything to the road?
No, we're just adding a driveway to it.
Okay, thank you. Mike, anything?
If I can also follow up the comment, prior to 288 variance, they have to go to the zoning board because
Right.
it's a private road. So if the board saw fit to grant preliminary, address some of Mr. Peters' comments when.
I was gonna ask that, because I did have to get that before on another application that had other variances, and it was at the zoning board. But is it just the zoning board, or if it's just that variance, it would still be the zoning board that grants that? Okay. Okay, because I was,
Did not list the front yard setback to the existing dwelling because it's existing and you're not changing anything.
Right.
If the subdivision
Created
that
it.
variance, then you have to obtain that variance, but it already exists.
because in,
Existing non-conforming front yard setback. But the 288, he's creating that now by adding another driveway.
yeah,
So that variance has to be obtained by town law in order to develop.
Well, that's why I asked at the beginning, if by developing this into a 3-lot subdivision, if the other 2 new lots were gonna be conforming, that's why I asked that question. So that he wasn't looking, well, I wanna develop it, but I gotta do sideways, or I gotta do,
Yeah.
he's not asking for any variances on the 2 newer
No
lots.
bulk variances,
Right,
okay? Meaning the area, the size of the lots are conforming to our zoning code.
mm-hmm,
But if you cannot put a driveway onto a town or state-developed road, if it's going onto a private road, a 288 variance is required to be obtained.
it's,
yeah,
Obviously, we have a lot of private roads in town, so we
Right.
grant them off
Yeah.
quite often.
and I asked because we had a project in Clarkstown, and the town board had to grant that variance. I don't know why,
So
but
it's been the zoning board.
that's fine.
okay, Mike, anything?
Yeah, just, going back to Bruce's comments, if, in fact, we did get preliminary, and you did go for the zoning, you'd have to add in some of the things that they stated in there, the driveways on the east side of the street.
Yes, there's a few, a lot of his comments, I think there, what did we say, there was 34? 34, I think about 28 of them would have to do if we were developing the property, but there's another 6 or 7 that are graphic, what I would call graphic in nature, the driveways across the street, the monuments, the iron pins, the site distance, all of that we can add certainly.
May I also remind the board that in previous final decision was granted with a condition that development of lots had to make application to the planning board for approval.
Which would be a condition.
Right.
Yeah.
So there are some older subdivisions that wasn't done.
Yeah, no, that'll be done here.
But in recent history, that's the way the board has, weren't addressed during
that would definitely be a condition.
No other comments at
Okay,
this
thank
time.
you very much. Mike, anything?
Oh, yeah, just a couple, very similar. I mean, Bruce Peters, his letter says it all. You know, we always take his comments seriously. Why wouldn't we take it tonight? You know, so I say, I can't approve a plan that's gonna come back totally different. With a landscaping plan, with all these changes he's asking for, it's tough for me to say like, oh yeah, we give you approval now, and then come back with a total different plan. I don't know how that works, but I would listen to his letter, and I would come back with a new plan that shows everything he wants, instead of trying to push this through, because it's gonna come back totally different.
We're not, we're only subdividing the property. I'm not proposing to do any of that work. I'm just providing that exhibit for you to do it. The people that would actually want to do it would come in the first time and have to do those comments. We're not asking you to approve a plan, a site plan, a landscape plan, that they're gonna then come in and change. We're just not doing that.
That's what Bruce Peters is asking.
Well, I've worked with Bruce many years, but in my opinion, he's incorrect, because the minor site plan doesn't require that.
I'll take his word over yours.
That's fine.
No, you don't.
Because all,
To go for a subdivision, you don't have to do all that. If you're not gonna
Basically,
develop it, you know.
all that we're
Clearly not.
approving would be lot line change. That's all we're approving.
Well, that's, you can approve what you want, Tom. I understand this, but I know the intent is to build 2 more houses.
But you're not approving the actual site plan development at this time? It's only creating the 3 lots?
I understand,
Yeah.
I'm looking at
They would have to
Bruce's
come back
comments.
if they wanted to develop.
What I would propose to do is respond to Mr. Peters' comments and even go meet with him and hopefully have him understand that I'm not trying to submit a plan and not do this, but that's not what this board is approving. He's commenting on something that I'm not even proposing. So, and I would like to think that I can respond to his comments in an engineering fashion and help him, by the time we come back, if the board sees fit to grant preliminary tonight, by the time we get to the final, this comment letter would be greatly reduced or non-existent. That would be my intention.
All right, well,
All right?
that's my opinion on this. That's it.
If down the road, we approve this and give it final, the only thing that we're gonna do is if the lot line change, not one blade of grass on that property will change. Until the other 2 lots, if they're sold, they would come in with a set of plan to show the house, to show landscaping, to show everything, and at that point, we would either approve or deny that
I've been through
particular
this
lot.
before.
No, I understand, I understand, but I'm just
I've seen
saying,
this, yeah.
we're going over the same thing over and over and over again. So, okay, anybody else on the board?
Bruce?
Yeah, no, Bruce had said, okay. Motion to open up to the public? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I just had a question for the board and maybe Director Slavin too, but the comments from the Parks Department that talk about the fee for the money in lieu of recreation. If it's an existing 1 lot and we're going to 3, it still would be 3 lots, single-family homes, even though the 1 home exists, or? Okay, all right, that was just a question I had. Okay.
Okay, motion to open to the public?
Motion to open the
Do I
public.
have a second? Favor? Opposed? None? Okay, I'll open it to the public. Anybody that's please come up. The microphone's here. State your name and address for the record, please. The microphone right here.
You went home. I didn't hear anything from this microphone, hard to hear. My name is Deanna Lampert. Is that on? Probably not, but I talk loud.
Yeah, it's gotta go on the tape recorder.
Oh. Okay, my name is Deanna Lamhut, 29, sorry.
Spell your last name for me.
Lamhut, 29 Whittier Road. Okay, I'm the neighboring property, and I have a question. When I was looking at the, when I was looking at the plan, I noticed that part of that property, you know, where the houses are proposed, there's a strip of LO, and I was just wondering why that wouldn't be changed to R40 since they're houses. And I figured in the future, a person who owned that lot would need the protection for, like, for instance, the lot behind me is LO. So it would prevent a building from coming too close to the R40. And it just seemed to me that that was weird to have that LO, and maybe it could just be changed to R40. That was one question.
Okay.
Okay, and the other was, while all of this is going on, someone is supposed to be taking care of that property. My neighbor is 5'4", and the weeds are above her head. So I don't know whether they're going to just let this go, and, you know, we live there, and it would be nice if they took care of that, because we pass it every day, and it's kind of disgusting.
You gotta have to get a hold of them to do it, I mean. the
Well,
town can't
who's
do
the
it without-
owner? I mean, I thought they were here today.
Are you finished with your comments? Because I can answer both of your
Oh, there you go.
questions if you're.
Okay, also, okay, another question. Did I understand that nothing's going to be happening to Whittier Road? They're not going to expand it, they're not going to do anything to it?
As of right now, no.
What does that mean?
As of right now, they're not gonna do anything to it.
Okay, but in the future?
They would have to come back to us.
Okay,
Nothing, they can't do anything unless we give approval to get it, to do it.
okay. And also, do I understand that now they're just asking for subdivision, but then what happens to those lots? They said someone will be buying each lot and builders would be building.
They have to come back.
Okay,
Yeah.
then
If-
I'm finished. I think I'm finished.
Okay, your question about the zoning, yes, it's odd, there's many areas on our zoning map that properties are segmented by different zoning districts. The only board that can change the zoning line is the town board, that would be a whole nother application. So, while your concern makes sense, it's not required for this application to move forward because it's not affecting that portion of the property. Second one, if you have any property maintenance complaints, we have a code enforcement department, you can just call them or go online, we have an online complaint, and they will make sure the property gets taken care
I
of.
just thought the owner was here and I could just say, could you please cut the weeds? But
I can relay the message as well. Yes.
And if nothing happens, then our code enforcement can reach out to them. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public wish to speak on it? Yes, ma'am, come up, state your name and address for the record, please.
Vanessa Lappin, 659 Western Highway, Blauvelt, New York. So this property sold over the summer, and the LLC doesn't have any owner listed, so it's really pretty impossible to find out who it is. And so we'll have an approved subdivision, which a buyer will come in and assume that everything's okay. It just feels like, you know, I realize caveat emptor, and this board doesn't have a responsibility to protect buyers, but if there isn't an approved plan, Bruce Peters, et cetera, it feels like a kind of a weird thing to sell a piece of property that they'll market as an approved subdivision, but really isn't approved for any sort of housing going forward. So just a comment, thank you.
Well, it'd be approved for a certain size house.
Right.
So you couldn't come in and put a $100,000 foot home on it.
Right.
Okay?
Understood.
And each lot has to come, the two empty lots have to come to us for approval.
I'm just saying a buyer might not know that, right? They'll see an approved subdivision, and I realize it's not all of our responsibility. So. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Two more applications.
Yeah, I know. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Donna. Say it into the microphone, please. It needs to be on the.
SOLARI.
SOL.
ARI.
And your address?
573 Greenbush Road in Blauvelt.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
I'm a local person in this neighborhood, and my concern is it's a lovely wooded area. And by putting 3 houses in this small area, it's going to change the dynamics of the neighborhood.
Can I just stop you just for a second?
I know that's not what you're approving tonight.
Okay, so what your concerns are right now is when and if the property is sold, then you can come back. The person's entitled to divide the property. He's not building anything, and he's saying this, right now, I'm not building anything. All I'm doing is subdividing. This is strictly a lot line change. I know your concerns, but right now, it doesn't apply with what, the direction that you were going.
Okay, and then you had mentioned several documents that you had in front of you, but I'm not sure because I'm new to this. Are those documents in support of this application, or do they have comments that we need to know about?
We have consultants, because we're all lay people. We have consultants that look at this project, and they will find items about it that they have concerns over, and that's what, all this information is available to the public. Foil it, you can see all of it. And so all they're doing is they're giving us their recommendations.
Okay, their recommendations, but can you say that they are supporting it or just making comments?
You can go.
Where do you find that information?
First, their technical analysis and reviews
Okay.
of the proposed subdivision.
Right.
If you would like the information, it's available in the planning office. You can send an email or Chesterman and ask for the.
Okay. Okay, and then I just had one more thing. The applicant that the gentleman is representing, what the other woman previous to me said about the LLC, we don't know who this person is, and I'm wondering, is it a local developer, or who is this?
We have no idea. We're dealing with this gentleman right here.
So it's not something that is available to the public to know?
I think if you foil it, I believe they have to give you that information.
I don't see it. When you say foil it,
Federal Information Act?
oh,
You can put
okay,
in a request for all information related to the project, and we'll send it to you.
okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can we get a mic stand for this in the future? Oh, okay.
We'll make sure it's set up next.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anybody else that has any questions or comments on this application? Okay, can I have a motion to close? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay.
Motion for lead agency.
Okay, motion for lead agent?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? Motion for neg deck? Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion for preliminary with conditions? Okay. Office of Building, Zoning, and Planning, Jane Slavin, September 20th. She has 3 comments. The Department of Environmental Management and Engineering, Town of Orangetown, September 24th. He has 34 comments. The Bureau of Fire Prevention, Town of Orangetown, September 16th. He has 3 comments. Bureau of Fire Prevention, September 10th, 2 comments. The Town of Orangetown Office of Recreation and Parks, July 25th, had 1 narrative. James Dean, Highway Department, September 25th, 1 comment. Rockland County Department of Planning, September 16th, they have 13 comments. Rockland County Environmental Health, excuse me, August 6th, 2 comments. Rockland County Sewer District Number 1, 2 comments. And a letter from Alfred Gaddy, Orange and Rockland, August 2nd. Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, you got your preliminary.
Thank you
Good
very
luck.
much,
Thank you.
You go to ZBA now.
Have a good night.
Okay, next on the agenda is Palisades Free Library Site Plan, B 24-42. I thought that was you from the library.
I've been involved with this library for a very long time.
Could you state your name and sign in, please?
My name is Michael Esme, and my, what?
Spell it for me.
E-S-M-A-Y. And my address is 17 Okay.
Yes, sir. What can I do you for?
Okay, I'm here representing the Palisades Free Library. They're proposing a small addition to their children's room, be on the west side of the building. Actually, a little less than 200 square feet, so that's, relatively small. The addition is to provide an activities play space, which they really don't have now in the children's library. That kind of thing happens.
Do me a favor, speak into your microphone a little bit better. There you go.
That kind of thing happens in the aisles between the stacks. They're tight for space, so they need some more space. It's located in an R4 zoning district, and it's in the Palisades Historic Overlay District. If you look at the site plan, you'll see there's a crosshatch kind of in the middle square. That's the building area, which is minuscule. Besides the frontage on the building, on the property, the entire bulk requirements are non-conforming. But this is not unique for that area. That intersection of Oak Tree and Closter, most of those properties are non-conforming. The library has gotten variances, well, for me in 1994, for someone else in 2012. So this is, in order to do anything on this building, they need a variance. And that's really, really where we want to go, is to get to the zoning board and see if we can get a variance to do this work.
Okay, thank you. Let me go through the consultant's reports. Okay, project review has no additional comments. Office of Building, Zoning, and Planning, Jane Slavin, September 20th. She has 6 comments. Department of Environmental Management and Engineering, Town of Orangetown, September 24th. They have 7 comments. Bureau of Fire Prevention, September 20th, has 1 comment. Rockland County Planning, September 16th, they have 8 comments. Rockland County Health, August 1st, they have 1 comment. I have Rockland County Sewer District Number 1, September 6th, they have 2 comments. Rockland County Highway Department, July 21st, they have 1 comment. And I have a letter from Rockland County Planning, July 24th, saying comments attached. I have another letter from Rockland County Planning Department, July 24th, consenting Town of Orangetown to serve as lead agent. Okay.
Have a narrative.
Okay, and a narrative from Michael Esme, architect, dated
4/25.
4/25/24.
And a short EAF.
And a short EAF. Okay.
4/26/24.
4/26/24. Okay, Andy, questions or comments?
I have nothing right now.
Thank you very much. Denise? Thank you, Mike.
No comments.
Thank you very much. Mike?
As long as, you meet the comments, go to the boards and get everything you gotta do.
Oh,
You'll
yeah,
be
we're-
coming back here.
We have to go to a lot of boards.
Yeah.
So this is just a starting point for you.
Just a starting point, and I'll be back here, how long?
One day.
Well, you gotta get to the other board.
You gotta get through
Right.
that one. Okay. Bruce, anything?
I have no issues with it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Can we go to the zoning board now?
I gotta finish doing what I'm doing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Once the board finishes their decision, if they grant preliminary, then.
I gotta finish, I got work to do before we do that.
Okay.
Motion to open it up to the public?
Motion to open public portion.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Okay, anybody from the public have any questions or comments on this application? Hearing none, motion to close?
Motion to close, public motion.
Okay, second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion for lead agent? Second, Okay, all in favor? Aye, opposed, none, motion for neg deck?
Motion for neg deck.
Second? All in favor? Aye, opposed, none, motion for preliminary with conditions?
Motion for preliminary with conditions.
That's where you wanted to get, but I had to get there.
I'm s-
Okay, conditions are, Office of Building, Zoning, and Planning, Jane Slavin, September 20th, 6 comments. Excuse me. Department of Environmental Management and Engineering, Town of Orangetown, September 24th, 7 comments. Bureau of Fire Prevention, September 10th, 1 comment. Rockland County Department of Planning, September 16th, 8 comments. Rockland County Environmental Health, August 1st, 1 comment. Rockland County Sewer District Number 1, September 6th, 2 comments. Rockland County Highway Department, July 24th, 1 comment. And that's it. You didn't have anything else, did you? No, just did that narrative. Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye, opposed, none. You got your preliminary.
Thank you.
Good luck, sir. Thank you.
Now you can come in and make applications to the zoning.
Good.
Okay,
Kate will help you with that if you exist.
Wyman Fisher Addition Site Plan, PB 2443.
Right to environmental assessment for that.
Yeah. That change is easy to make, and I already made it, and would you accept it tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
I will take it.
Please sign in for the record, please.
Chris Brigitte.
How you doing? Good. You're looking good. I haven't seen you in a long time.
Sign that. David Fisher.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Board members. The application in front of you for Mr. Fisher is an addition onto the existing single-family house located on the property, which also houses the funeral home. Mr. Fisher has lived in this house for 71 years as his residence. He wants to enlarge it for accessibility, handicap access. We're putting an interior elevator to get to the second level, which will be the main living quarters, 2-bedroom. And the lower level will have a guest room when the kids come to visit and such, and his several car garages to house his personal cars, not to disrupt the parking for the funeral parlor. And that's it in a nutshell. Not much else going on. We are adding some, for the addition, we're adding some impervious, but we're removing more impervious than we're adding and replacing with grass. So we actually have a net deduction of impervious surfaces, so no need for drainage.
Okay. Let me go through the consultant's report.
Okay?
Project review has no additional comments. Office of Building, Zoning, and Planning, Jane Slavin, September 24th. She has 5 comments. Department of Environmental Management and Engineering, Town of Orangetown, September 24th. Bruce Peters has 8. Bureau of Fire Prevention, Town of Orangetown, September 10th, has 1. Okay, Booker Engineering, September 24th. Based on the information provided, there are no potential significant adverse impacts with respect to stormwater runoff that require mitigation. Therefore, we recommend that the Wyman Fisher Funeral Home site plan be approved for drainage subject to the above project comments, of which there are 6. I have a letter from Rockland County Department of Planning, September 17th, of which they have 9 items. I have a letter from Rockland County Environmental Health, August 2nd. They have a letter. I have Rockland County Highway July 25th, they have 2 comments.
Comment 1 needs to be,
Okay.
Oh, it says Ramapo on
Oh.
there.
typo.
Should that be a typo, or should we override that?
You only have to override planning, that's
Right.
highway.
Okay, so we just eliminate number 1.
It's not even a condition, they're just.
No, but,
So we
I mean,
changed it
it's
to
here,
Orangetown.
we have to do something with it so that it doesn't come back.
It appears to be a typo. It is a typo.
Okay,
Because the address on the top of it is all correct, they're referencing, sorry, to the correct board, and
Right.
they're referencing the correct project.
okay, so, but if, if it comes back, we'll handle it, but eliminate number 1, thank you. I have a letter from Bart Rhodey, P.E., dated September 11th. It's in reference to the project. I have a letter from Rockland County Planning Department, July 24th, consenting Town of Orangetown Planning Board Service Lead Agent. I have a letter from Rockland County Planning, July 22nd, comments attached. Okay, Gerard, anything else? Thank you very much. Andy? Oh, wait a minute.
We have a narrative.
Oh, I have a narrative from Bart Rhodey dated February 24th. Okay, thank you. Andy, anything, question or comments? Thank you. Denise?
So the, all right, hold on. So the Department of Planning is talking about, it will increase area of non-conforming dwelling by 59%, and that we're not allowed to use use variance, non-conformance, use cannot be expanded more than 50%. But you're basically just adding floors onto an existing structure, and like the non-conformance isn't getting
Right,
worked.
and
He's expanding the size of the non-conforming.
But not by
use.
59%.
That's one of my comments as well.
Yeah.
The second comment. So our code has a section for expanding non-conforming bulk, which they're doing. Non-conforming use. Structure on it, okay. Asking for those, and common, it happens, we have, especially in Pearl River, there's a lot of uses that say residential or in the commercial, so if they do an addition, they have to go to.
Okay, I guess I just didn't have a copy of your letter, but so that's it, it's just asking for the approval to go for those variances, that's what you're asking,
Right.
like with the
So
submission?
their comments are based on our zoning code. My letter, please,
Oh.
can you get a copy of it?
Yeah.
Which I also state them, so the next step, if the board feels that they want to grant preliminary for this
Let me see it.
application, their next
I don't have
move
it
would be make application to the ZBA to obtain those variances. If they do not obtain the variances, then the project can't move forward.
Gotcha, okay, so we'd be giving essentially like preliminary here, just so they can go get those variances.
Right, with the variances that are required, you really can't grant a final
Gotcha.
approval. It's a, it is a substantial variance, but again, it's been, this use has been there. We don't have really good records on it, because it's been there so long, but I think 61 or 60. Whole arrangement was set up based on what I can find, which is like
65 years.
Yeah, it's like
Got it.
pieces of paper in the, so.
All right, that was it, just trying to understand. That's all.
Thank you. Mike, questions or comments?
No, not this time.
Okay, thank you very much. Mike?
Yeah, I think the confusing part, like that Denise mentioned, is that Jane mentioned that you can't exceed 50% in her letter. But Rockland Planning put it at 59%.
Right.
Did we find if that 59 is correct, or?
Yeah, I haven't done the calculation yet.
I think that's.
He's got it, he has to provide the calculations to us,
Yeah.
which he has not done, and he'll have to do it as
I'm-
part of the zoning board
Right.
package.
So if it's
And the
59%.
zoning board is the mechanism for which he can obtain, if he can't meet the 50%, he would need a variance.
But that would change, it seemed like they say it will change to a use variance if it's 59, if they're correct and it's 59%, that'll change.
Not a use.
It's,
It's an expansion of a non-conforming
Right.
use.
I'm just reading their letter.
Yeah, I think they're wrong.
Yeah.
Again, they, as we've experienced in the past few years, they interpret our zoning code a bit differently. Ultimately, it's my responsibility to make the determination for zoning compliance. If my determination says it is not compliant, then they must seek.
Yeah, because it seemed like they did the calculations and they said disapprove, and that's a big.
No, they didn't do they just used my calculation. I did the
And we'll get a
calculation.
better calculation down the line.
Right, and we talked about this at PRC because it was so confusing as to where what was taken and taken down, what the addition was. One looks like a two-story addition, but it's actually an addition over an existing first floor, and then there's a one-story, so we have been working
So
through
there's
that.
still some calculation to be made to decide on what kind of variances.
Correct, if necessary. That percentage may go down. I'll talk to Jane and get an interpretation, because I included the garage, the deck. I didn't deduct for the shed, so I have to ask you.
Exactly, and that was the confusion that Bruce
Right.
had brought up at PRC, is taking down a shed
Yeah.
to put up the addition.
That's why you see the confusion there, like, oh, it's 59, and you're like, well, we'll see what it is.
That ultimately is on me to
Yeah.
accept his calculation and write it firmly to the zoning board. And I may disagree with him, but I'm gonna write, the way I calculate it.
Yeah.
We could disagree and he could explain it to the zoning board, but I think we'll be able to
All
work
right,
it out.
yeah, makes sense. It just, you look at it, they're like, oh, disapprove, and when Rockland Planning does that, it's usually pretty serious. But, all right, that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Bruce, anything?
No, I have no issues with it.
Okay. Motion to open up to the public?
Motion to open up the public.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Anybody from the public have any questions, comments on this project? One more time, anybody from the public? Have any questions?
What did I get myself into?
Oh, okay. Okay, got a motion to close public?
I'll make it.
Okay, second? All in favor? Aye. Okay, motion for lead agent?
Motion for lead agent.
Okay. Second? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion for neg deck?
Motion for neg deck.
All, second? All in favor? Aye. Motion for preliminary with conditions?
Motion for preliminary with conditions.
And the conditions are, is Office of Building and Zoning, Jane Slavin, September 24th. She has 5 comments. The Department of Environmental Management and Engineering, Town of Orangetown, September 24th. Bruce Peters has 8. Bureau of Fire Prevention, Town of Orangetown, September 10th, has 1. Booker Engineering, September 24th, has 6. Rockland County Department of Planning, September 17th, they have 9. Rockland County Environmental Health, August 2nd, has 1. Rockland County Highway Department, July 25th, has 1. And that's it. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye, opposed, none. You got your preliminary. Good luck. Dave, good seeing you. Do not take those the caribou horns down. You and I shot them. You gotta remember that.
One fell down and brought it away. That
Did
was
it?
only-
Ah.
sort of one horn.
Oh.
Down, Phil.
We gotta go back up there. We had a good time.
That was a good time.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Do we have minutes?
Do we have any minutes?
Minutes?
No minutes.
No minutes?
Do we have any minutes?
Yes, there are no minutes for this meeting and there's no other business.
How come no minutes?
No minutes because we've taken some time to do them. I'm behind on some things and I will get them as soon as possible.
Let's adjourn.
Okay, I have a motion to meeting to be adjourned.
Bruce got it.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye, opposed, none? Okay, meeting's adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I did find the letter.
Okay.
Right at the bottom.
Oh, now you
Unless I give
found
you
it.
back the wrong one.
Come and sit and talk for a second.
We off?
We're running over. We usually don't do this.
We usually stay till 11:30,
Yeah.
12 when he's not here.
Do you have any questions?
My first ACTA board meeting,